Perfect.
Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Bash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I'm Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and today we're joined by the lovely Melorina, aka Melissa. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you, Bob?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
And we are also joined by Trackzuit. How you doing, Track?
Good, Bob. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me back on.
Doing good. Thank you for coming. And we are also joined by the infamous Winky. How you doing?
Infamous, dude. What did I do now?
I don't know where he's going with that, but
I'm good, Bob. Thanks for the. Yeah, I'm a villain. Entering my villain arc.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I appreciate you.
And first time on the show, we have Zunder. How you doing?
I'm not bad. Just a bit sick still, but hanging in there.
Some people might remember Zunder from when we were doing our Ulduar progression. Zunder would write in with his Ulduar progression too.
Just talk for 2 minutes and 30 seconds and then get cut off. No, nothing in particular.
It was pretty good. All right, I'd like to start the show off by thanking our tank patrons in Thick Lizzie, Croxford, Braxton, and Turtle Whale. I'd like to remind everybody we stream live on Twitch at twitch.tv/BlazinBob, BLAZZINBOB. We have a new Discord service, warcraftreloaded.com/Discord, or check the link in the description. We're on a whole new version of WoW, and I implore you to go get Rested XP, even though it's completely free, to get you to 25, basically, because it's to 22, which you'll be 25 by the time you get through it if you do dungeons. So it is free now, but think of us in the future. Code Reloaded. We're gonna start the episode.
Bob, if you have the paid version of RXP, you get the rune guides too, right?
Oh, I thought the rune guides were free.
Are those free?
I think they are. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
I'm pretty sure they're free, but I mean, honestly.
So next phase, use the code.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Wowhead
Okay,
and look up Winky's great rune tutorials.
and not just mine. It was a team effort with the Wowhead staff, but yeah, if you need to find runes, I'm the one that's ruining all of spoiling
Everybody's fun.
Ruin in the
You're
game.
the person people complain about.
No, so
they don't have to click on it.
Yeah, they don't have to click on it, and if they accidentally do, they're all hidden behind spoilers. They're like, you have to click reveal.
I do appreciate that.
I accidentally clicked on it and then accidentally revealed all the locations. And
how did you do that?
I don't know. It was an accident.
What?
Bullshit. Oh, excuse me.
That's like 25 accidental clicks.
So then I made a Reddit post about it.
Oh, sweet.
They put up the links before the runes were discovered, and so I looked at it before SoD came out, and I was like, they already know where the runes are. I was like, I shouldn't look. I was like, I'm totally gonna look, and I clicked on how to find one. And it was like, has not been discovered yet, and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Now I can't tell anybody.
So that was the thing. We can talk about it later. We continue with the intro, Bob. I don't want to derail. Because I do have something I want to complain about with the Wowhead stuff. We're
gonna start the episode off with Winky's complaining about Wowhead stuff. Then we're gonna move on to two voicemails. The number's 816-866-1066 if you want to call in, or speakpipe.com/Warcraft Reloaded. Then we're gonna just talk a little bit about what we've been doing, what characters we've been playing. Then we'll hit the news, and then we're going to end off with a discussion about the roadmap of basically WoW Classic and Cataclysm. So there's a lot coming up. So without further ado, let's get into it. Winky, go ahead and tell us about your qualms, and then we'll move on to voicemails.
Okay, so just to catch people up, I've been tasked for writing writing all of the guides on the rune discovery locations for Wowhead, right? I was tasked that a little bit in advance, right? So that I could get like onboarded onto the Wowhead team and like learn how they do things, and like learn how to use the code for their website and like all this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the amount of complaints about the data mining that was going on before Season of Discovery released, it struck me. I got so annoyed.
It's absurd.
Because it's like, you got to understand, we live in 2023, right? If anything is possible to get leaked or data mined, it's going to get leaked or data mined, right?
And anybody can do it.
Yeah, and anyone can do it. And you don't have to look at that information if you don't want to, right? Like, you don't
They just want to bitch.
type in the website and like look at the leaked information. Don't Google Season of Discovery leaks, right? If you don't want the leak. And I understand like the whole point of Season of Discovery is to discover things and have fun and do that, right? I still feel like we got to do that because
we're still doing it.
Yeah, even with all
we are
of the
still
data mines,
we are min maxing. We are finding out better. We are finding out builds. We are finding out everything. Like,
but even
honest,
with
even
the
if
data
it's a
mines, none of the
guide.
locations were even found, right? Like none of the maybe the names of the runes and like the names of a few quests were found, but it still took people like days to find the shaman. What was it? Earth Shield rune. It took Meta. It took like 4 days for us to find Meta.
Was forever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Meta was bugged. People were claiming it was bugged.
Wasn't it just in the raid?
I think that some people had maybe experienced a bug, but for the most part, yeah, it was just in the raid, and you just had to do that Warlock pre-quest in the raid to get it, which was then shortly patched because that wasn't the designer that made that rune acquisition did not follow the protocol given to them by Blizzard when they
put
were
stuff in the raid.
Yeah, well, they basically said like make it obtainable outside of a raid, make it obtainable by yourself with no party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, let's just put 2 pieces in these towers that you have to go across the entire world for, and like have a raid party, or else you'll die because the mobs are like level 34 elites at the top of the towers, and then we'll go into BFD for the next part.
I like it. Make some of those hard.
I thought it was cool.
It's a meta-defining thing.
I thought it was really cool. But the problem is in the long run, in the short term, it's awesome. But let's say you started a Warlock in phase 3 of Season of Discovery, right? You have to then get someone that's a high level to carry you through the raid, the level 25 raid, so that you can get your quest done to be able to tank dungeons. It just seems kind of, it's not a problem now. It's actually really cool now, but like later I could see people whining about it, right?
Well,
people are going to be going back in that raid the entire time. I mean, look at,
I hope so.
This is jumping ahead a little bit to the next phase, but like, take a look at the staff, right? The staff that comes out of Kelleris, right? 26 spell power, was it 15 int and like 14 spirit?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Staff of Jordan is the same spell power, less. It's like 11 int and 11 spirit, and it's a level 35 required item. There's not a better that I've found. There's not a better pre-raid at 40 bis item for cashers. Like everybody's gonna be going
true.
back
Actually, that is
it
actually
probably
true, yeah.
will be, but if you're leveling, you're gonna want to have somebody take you in there, carry you through it to see if you can get that while you're leveling a new tune. It'll make sense. But to go back to Wiki's point about the tanking thing, I was a little upset because I thought I was going to be able to tank as a rogue working up. But when I think about it,
Bob.
Well, but when I think about it, that's only a problem for this phase. Like, I mean, there was only 3 dungeons basically that there was only 2 really. Like Dead Mines, you could have the runes pretty easily by the time you go to Dead Mines and to the one in Silverfire. Yeah.
Or SFK.
Yeah. So it was just a problem for the start. And do they really just want to give us those easy? I don't know. I didn't like it behind the paywall. That was a little annoying to me for the rogue, but at the same time, it's still just a problem for now. Really?
I think there's some goodness about the paywall because there's not a lot of cash dumps at this phase. And if you're going to have people that are out there farming gold or doing stuff, like, it's a good way to get some gold out of the economy.
Do you think so? I think there's a lot of good cash dumps. Like, there's a lot of good ones.
Which
Mage
paywall are you
Scrolls is
talking
probably
about?
Well, no, you buy the PvP gear, the mount. You buy, like, they've put in a lot of good gold sinks. Like, and then on top of that, the crates basically just suck. You know, some of the stuff is stuff that would never be made, but still it's being made with resources they're sucking out of the economy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just poof, gone, right?
Oh, can we actually, can I just criticize real quick? Do you think Blizzard actually cares about their economy? Like, do you think when they're developing Season of Discovery, they're thinking about like gold dumps and
I don't. I said
I don't think they care.
I said last week, I don't know if they were extremely smart or it was just a happy accident that they put so many of them in. Like,
well, the problem is, I mean, we're so fresh on the server. RMT is only at the very beginning stages right now. Like, I'm such a doomer right now about RMT and botting and shit because I've seen how many bots are in SoD.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, I feel like no matter how many gold sinks they put in the game or how much of a beautiful accident it seems like today, by the time next phase comes, it's already going to be too late. Gold's going to be 20 cents, you know, for 100 gold, and it's just going to be everyone's going to be spamming GDKPs again, hitting gold cap and shit. It's
have you seen a lot of bots in the open world?
Oh, absolutely.
See, I haven't. Like,
I've got the best tool to do it as a priest, right? You see a bot run around. Unfortunately, it's a little easy to tell right now because most of them they keep their pet's name a Chinese character, so it's kind of a red flag right there. But the number one thing to do if you suspect somebody of botting, hit them with the fortitude if you're a priest, and if they're out of combat, they'll immediately stop and start drinking and eating to full because that's how they're scripted to heal back up out of combat. So you just hit them with the fort, changes their health, they go right back up, and then an instant report. Like, it's super simple. It's
weird. I've been going everywhere, doing everything, and like I saw like one bot that I thought, no, seriously, like one. But I've watched these. Hold on. But I've watched these different videos, and they're showing like 3 or 4 in one area. And I'm thinking to myself, that's got to be a PvE server. Like,
nope.
Yeah, I haven't seen bots. Like, I would love to see proof of it. Go
to Camp T.
Literally, go to Camp T, go to Hillsbrad and run just to the east of Terran Mill. You'll see 8 bots in like just across the river of Terran Mill. The second you get there on any layer, guaranteed.
Huh? Yeah, I haven't seen them. Weird.
It's so sad.
You got to get those torn bear pelts, man, because everybody's buying them for the DMF.
Yeah, Track. I was killing this hunter over and over again, and Track was like, "Is it a bot?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." Because when I attack him, he jumps up and moves. He's just really bad. He's like really bad. I mean, like maybe the bot's trained to, you know, when I open Gururode on it to like jump and like stagger move a little bit and like try to like mend pet when they should have like tried to run. But
if it's mending pet, it's definitely a bot.
Dude, I think he was just an idiot. Like, I think he was just bad.
I mean, there's also that. There are,
we're on a PvP server. Jumped and turned, so he wasn't even keyboard turning. Like, he jumped and turned 180, and then like tried to backtrack a little bit, and then tried to mend pet, and then tried to bandage right after they did mend pet. And I was like, I think this person's just bad. It's really bad. Like,
maybe they're just new. Maybe not bad, just new.
I don't know. I hear the bot thing. How about this, Wiki? Like, people want to do the Christmas quest after beer league. If we travel to do those quests, you should be able to show me bots.
Guaranteed, we will see 3 bots on the way to do that.
Okay.
Quest.
Well then, I will come on next week and be like, Wiki schooled me, guys. Wiki schooled me.
Yeah, it's literally so bad right now with the botting. There's a tweet that was going around of someone like recording, like one of the bot
I
headquarters.
saw that.
And there was just like, yeah, they had like 8 big screen TVs, and they had probably like 30 accounts running on each big screen TV. And they're just like panning around this room. They're sitting there playing solitaire on their computer, and like you've got all of these bots. Right? It just,
I mean,
it's
I
so
know,
sad,
I
man.
know bots are there. I just feel like it's more on like PvE servers where they're like rampant, because I don't know. It just seems like a PvP server, especially that's 50-50. I mean, and like what's really weird is there's on Crusader Strike, I don't know if it's because they maybe upped the respawn time or there's just so many layers, but I'm working up a hunter and like I have to stop to mine every few seconds because the mines are everywhere. Like I'm just like,
oh yeah, so I don't think the bots are doing like open world gathering professions.
No, it's beast farming. Just
Yeah,
right
they're
outside
just-
of camp.
I feel like on
raw gold
PvP
farming.
servers, the bots tend to stick to dungeons. Like
There are a lot of sus rogues in dungeons right now.
because I mean
But I
that's
feel like those
really
are
what they
easily
did on
identifiable.
like early on. That's really what they did on most PvP servers until PvP servers turned into completely, one
Yeah.
faction servers. But yeah, I don't know. I look forward to you showing me because I guess I've just been blind.
Oh yeah, we'll
Guess
find.
my
Well, they have
question would be-
guilds.
With the amount of money that it would probably cost them to fight against the bots, and I'm talking both sides, because it would cost them a lot of money to put all the manpower into figuring out how to effectively fight bots, right? And then they would lose all the revenue that
Yeah, you
they're
lose all those
getting
subs.
from the bot accounts, right? So I guess bots in my world don't affect me. And maybe they do, and I just don't know how they affect me, but I don't care that much if there's bots or if there's not bots. But I also don't spend a ton of time like doing anything that would, like, I'm not the person that logs on and tries to, farm or fish or make gold that way. Like, I let Bob make gold and then I take it from him.
I don't know.
Yeah, but God, by
Wrath,
the way, Bob makes gold is doing GDKPs, which are funded by RMT, which are funded by bots.
No, I make gold. I haven't been in a GDKP yet here. I would love, though, if anybody wants to trade me Wrath gold and give me gold on Crusader Strike Horde, I'm down to do that. Yeah, I have a lot of Wrath gold. But yeah, I'm like, I mean, I make gold the same, like I make gold through GDKPs, but then I also make gold through a lot of other things. And right now in Crusader Strike, that's my only way. So I'm questing. I've got different professions on every different guy, keeping straight all the names, like Blazing Bobby, Blazing Bob, Blazing Bob, Blazing Bob Baby. Like I'm like, wait, is he the? Yeah, he's the potion maker. Okay, like that's kind of been a bitch at the moment, but like, yeah, I flip stuff constantly. Like I do a lot of stuff to make gold besides GDKPs, but GDKPs is just a really easy way to do it. But I haven't gotten into them yet on Crusader Strike. I'm having too much fun with the characters that I have, raiding with different like raid groups, like getting to raid with you, like, in one, and then getting to raid with Pummel and Sarth and No Hit Jerome. And like, I'd love to like raid with other people, that I've known but haven't gotten to play with. Like that part is really cool. So I just don't have enough tunes to really mess with a GDKP.
They're definitely happening. Like you see Ompi's
doing like 8.
Ompi's doing like
whole
8
Discord
a day.
server dedicated.
Yeah.
Friday
And then
7, Friday 8, Friday 9, Saturday, Saturday, Saturday,
Oh my
Saturday.
gosh.
And then you've got Graves for Days leveling like 8 tunes for GDKPs, and it's because they're smart. Let's be real. That's how they're gonna make their gold, right? They're not gonna buy gold. They're just gonna run raids. If you're a full-time streamer and you can play WoW 15 hours a day if you want to, that I would do the same thing, man. I'd be logging in and I'd be running GDKPs all day to make all the gold I need. in an ethical way, quote air quotes behind ethical way, and then never have to worry about buying gold. The people that are the problem are the people that are botting, though, because in a perfect world, GDKPs are dope. They're a great idea, cool method. But the problem is we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world that's the whole GDKP arc is funded by botting and RMT.
So I think there's
it's a money laundering system, guys.
It literally is, yeah.
Sure, for sure. I think there's some goodness in how Blizzard structured the content at these lower levels. Yes, there's always going to be RMT. There's always going to be bots. We're just going to have to live with it, right? That's the reality.
Every game has it, right?
With the lower, and the issue with GDKPs combined with the ability to purchase RMT, some gold, is that it makes the barrier of entry for newer players to go into raids tough, right? So a guy or gal gets their character all the way up there and they're 25 and they want to go BFD, but the only thing available is GDKPs. The benefit to the way they've structured it now, though, is everything's 10-man, and it's going to be 10-man for a while. And then it's going to be 20-man. And yes, of course, there's going to be the 40-man raids and stuff, but at least for now, while people can experiment and have fun with the game and figure out what tune they want to play and gear up, putting 10 people together is relatively simple. And you're not going to have, not everybody's going to want to GDKP that, and then it's going to be okay. There's going to be room for those folks. So I think there is some goodness in how they structured it with the 10-man raids in combat, and not necessarily designed to combat that. I think the dungeons are only so big, so they can only put together so many people. But I think it's going to help, right? It's going to offset that. Now later, if the process continues, by the time 40-man content releases, that's when you're going to have a tough time for people who pugged their way through or were okay in the 10-mans and maybe 20-man content and now get to 40-man content and don't have a place to go because they're not in a guild or they don't have the gold to do GDKPs.
Do you think that the next phase is going to remain 10-man content, or do you think they're going to bump it to 25 and then 40?
I hope they bump it to 15.
Seems like a lot for Nomer.
I hope they bump it to 15, then to 20. So then I
think they'll keep it at 10.
I hope level 60 is no higher than 25. And I know people are going to be bitching, but fuck 40-man content.
I would love if they left the difficulty the same
as 25 people
and 25 manned it with the runes and the equipment differences you had. That'd be pretty
cool,
solid.
actually.
Hell yeah.
It would be really fun.
Because think about going into Molten Core right now with the current 40-man with the runes you have. Like Molten Core is already stoppable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now add on all your abilities, and we don't even know what's coming next, right? With all the other different rune slots.
I said that on the show right after BlizzCon. Like, please just make Molten Core 25-man, like, or even 20-man. Like,
yeah, just cut the raid size in half.
And honestly, it'd be easier for them, right? Because if they keep it at 40-man, they're going to have to do so much tuning to make it even a little bit fun where we see any of the mechanics, right?
They're going to have to tune
they weren't going to do anything with the tuning. They were just going to pump the raids out there and let people go crazy.
They've recently, but at the same time, though, like they have to tune at least gear and loot because it's not going to keep up, right?
The set bonuses need to be tuned. Like the loot definitely has to get tuned.
I mean,
they have finally said they're working on the set bonuses, and you were right, Wiki. I wasn't supposed to say anything when I said it way back.
Oh well, yeah.
Nobody told me though.
It makes logical sense though. You have to rework stuff.
No, we knew that because in hard. I remember it was towards the end of when I was playing hardcore, getting ready to come over to do SoD. There was a time when everybody logged in. I think it was after a patch. I think it was after the one of the PTRs dropped for Classic, the client that had SoD on at the time. But everybody's gear from phase 2, all the BWL and like the legs off rag, like all the set bonuses were gone. So they had all their gear. They had all their gear and they were getting ready to go do a raid, but they had no set bonuses and none of them were triggered or anything. Like, it was just gone.
That's funny.
They had just bootleg tier 2 gear with no set bonuses, just all the stats, but no sets. So everybody's like, I wonder if they're reworking gear for tier 2. So, I'm assuming they will. Maybe they won't for Molten Core, but like all these different abilities and things, they're going to have to retune stuff. Like Warlock tanks are going to need gear, right? Rogue tanks are going to need gear. Shaman are going to need gear. So
I was kind of surprised to see the BFD gear, like all the male gear, just having defense on it. I guess like
Yeah.
the other stats are still good, but I was kind of thinking like, oh, maybe there would be 2 sets, one for tanking, one for DPS. But
There
I
isn't.
was surprised any of the gear
Really?
had defense on it in BFD. Like
Yeah.
defense is such a dumb stat in Classic, like especially in early Classic. Like
it just
Yeah,
makes
it's
it
fun.
feel
It's,
odd.
it's classic loot.
I
There's
did.
like-
They're staying consistent, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like an Agi spirit item in
The
BFD
boots, the
too. Yeah,
Skinwalker
something like
boots or
that.
whatever.
Yeah, and it's like there's literally no class that would use that. Not even Warlock
What?
tanking.
The
Not
cloth
bad
ones?
well, it was like
That's not
there
bad
were
for
one of
Warlock
the
tank.
cloth ones that were agi in spirit, and I put
Yeah.
them on my druid because you could
No,
power shift
there's-
more.
Yeah,
There-
that's true.
There's cloth ones with stamina, agi, and strength. I'm literally wearing them on my rogue. I was like, well, this is definitely better than what I have. I don't have the tiers, so I'm going to take this. It's like better than any other boots I could get.
Yeah,
well, let's
take
see. Your
'em.
casters can wear fishing poles and go hit on high level mobs.
I wonder if
That's
they
true.
thought warlock tanks would need like some melee scaling.
I think they needed I think the idea was they wanted Warlock's tanks to kind of want some agility, right? For
Yeah,
dodge.
that's what
We want the
thought.
For
dodge.
dodge.
I don't know what the strength would
Dodge
be
and
for
armor,
And-
too.
and-
it
Well,
it
not
also
dodge,
has armor.
and I don't know how their metamorphosis like actual melee attacks count spell wise.
Oh, it's terrible.
If it adds for crit to that or crit chance to that as well.
No, I
should
think
if
we
it
just
doesn't.
in gives you your crit because it's spell crit. Then
Gross.
yeah,
I
metaphor
thought you
melee
had
is
one
just
that
a
was like a
meme.
melee cleave or something.
It's still a spell,
Shadow
though,
Bolt.
right?
Shadow Bolt becomes a melee cleave, but right now, if you're playing a meta tank and you're pressing Shadow Cleave, you're actually trolling.
You're
Like
griefing your
it is
You're
so
not just
bad
spamming Searing
of an
Pain.
ability.
Searing
Yeah, you have to basically just Searing Pain and then throw up Corruption. And believe it or not, I learned this with the Warlock Discord. The highest threat per button that you can press if you're a Warlock tank is Curse of Weakness. You
Is it the
put up
highest
Curse
level
of
skill you can
Weakness.
train at that level?
I don't know
Wow.
actually, but
Something to do
it's
with
just
its debuff or something.
yeah, it's like
Just like
it
you
just
have
causes
to shout for warriors to get AoE threat.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the
exactly.
same for
it's
warriors
kinda
and
like the
druids.
shout, yeah. Yeah, it's just really high threat per button press for the
They
just
probably
the one
trained
button.
at 24 if that's the case, or something.
Yeah,
so it's a
probably.
higher level. Yeah.
Yeah,
It sucks because you don't use weakness ever. You're either using wreck for your melee or you're using agony to have elongated threat. Weird.
yeah. I don't know. You're the first warlock tank I've been with. I've only been with shaman tanks.
I thought you went with Crix.
I would love to go with Crix,
Oh.
but I haven't ran with him yet. I need more tunes.
Yeah, true. No, the Warlock tank's good. It ain't no shaman. I'll tell you that. Shaman tanking is insane.
Shaman tank is amazing.
Yeah, and
it's
I've been
really broken.
yeah. Before the beer
Seen
league, I was
warrior
running with
too.
all the pumpers, rugs, and Sarth. So shaman, nope, have to have shaman.
But you don't even have to. I mean, warrior tanks are just like they're DPS monsters. While
No,
they're
I'm talking about
that's what I was gonna
rugs
say. I've
and
seen them do
SARS.
like huge single target, but then like in AoE they still feel terrible as ever.
According
like,
to the
Thunderclap rings,
stats,
like,
though.
useless.
Rogues are the #1 DPSing tank in BFD. Just nobody uses them.
I've never seen a rogue tank yet. Not
Same.
once.
Me neither.
Same.
I saw one
I'd take
try to
for
do
a
it
second.
in PvP and he got dumped on. It was just not great for him.
Oh,
Well, it's all
no.
parry, right? So if you're fighting a caster, it's like useless.
Yeah, but you do a ton of
I think they're
damage.
much more situational. Rogue
Yeah,
tanks
because
are.
do rogues just get like parry haste nonstop because that's their whole build is to parry things?
Probably.
So you just get free melee swings nonstop on whatever you're fighting.
Yep.
So I wonder if that just means you just get like a really high top end, very slow set of weapons, and you just parry haste.
I think
For
it
high
only affects
DPS.
your main hand too.
No,
though, so
Thrash Blade and Fell Striker, and then your Foe Striker.
Yeah,
and
there
you're
you
good.
go.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's definitely weird, but yeah, I want to take as a rogue, but I figure like I'll have plenty of time to do that because I'm over. Like someone was talking about over questing in the chat. I am over questing because you make so much fucking gold and it's so easy. And so I'm over
be honest, I don't
questing,
think
so
it's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be an
dungeon
issue.
grind. I'm gonna dungeon
Yeah.
grind 25 to
Yeah, I
30
think
and
most
bada bing,
people are
bada
in
boom.
Dungeon Grind.
I think it's even more so because I mean dungeon grinding is what most people do going from like vanilla to TBC or from TBC to like to TBC to Wrath to level. It's like you just
Well,
get a
it
group of
was
your friends
so
and you dungeon
miserable.
cleave. It's miserable, but I think this time, like with these level gated phases, dungeon grinding is going to be really good, because if you've done just a little bit of BFD, right, on that character, you're going to annihilate the dungeons. It's going to be stupid the amount of damage you're going to be doing. Like, you're going to be flying through.
I mean, you already
dungeons.
annihilate the
took,
dungeons in this phase without
True.
raid gear,
We
because the
took-
runes just take up for it. Like that's what somebody was talking earlier. Like, oh, I don't get the tank. There's only 2 dungeons that can really tank DM and SFK. Well, you don't need a tank for any of the dungeons. Not
Nope.
one dungeon in this phase
We
needs
did
a tank.
SFK with 2 people that weren't 25, just trying to help them get gear before 25 and get experience. And we had no tank. We just, like, whoever it was on, we tanked. Even in BFD,
And my homoculi can
you
tank.
don't need a
They're
tank
wonderful.
until a boss. Like, you don't need tanks for trash at all. So AoE threat doesn't even fucking matter. Like, anybody can tank trash. Like, you really just have to have threat on the boss. That's really all that matters at this point.
We were running Wailing Caverns at a little bit lower level, and we had a warrior who was there. The pug we picked up. It was a couple of buddies of me and this warrior that we picked up, and he was tanking and was not doing a good job at it, and just ends up dying. Like, he was off in his own world, gets a piece of loot, dies, and then just quits the raid. Dungeon. We're like, oh, whatever. And we're like, you guys just want to keep going? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. And we just had the hunter pet tank the rest of the dungeon, and we 4-manned Wailing Caverns, and we're moving at a much faster clip than when we had the warrior. Like, this is, it's so trivial.
I feel like most classes in the game right now, once they get a little bit of loot at 25, can just solo any dungeon up to like RFK.
It
like
depends.
I've done it on
Not
Warlock,
priest.
Hunter, Shaman now, and Rogue.
Did you say not priest?
No, not priest.
Listen, my
Yeah, it
homoculi
depends.
can cause some fucking serious
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah,
Every
okay?
they'll
3 minutes,
cause you
every
wipe.
3 minutes you
Pull
can do it.
Big,
Every 3
they
minutes.
can pull some big packs of
Yep.
things you didn't want.
You
Yep.
pull, you pull a big
There-
pack, you drop barrier, and then you
Track.
AoE mind seer everything down.
Trek, she's killing a bunch of stuff with homoculi. Then after she kills a bunch of stuff, they go pull. She dies to a ton of mobs. Then on her 3-minute walk back to the dungeon, homoculi's back up. So it's all good. You know, it's Gucci.
Homoculi is always up. When
My biggest
if they
complaint
live.
with the homoculi, let me just tell you, I don't know if any of you play priest. I don't think you do.
I
do
do.
you?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so feel my pain here, because the stupid homoculi that when I attack something, they need me to run inside of that
Inside
thing
of the
for them
mob,
to
yes.
attack them.
Yep.
But when we're just chilling drinking, they just freaking run around chasing anything and everything. And
That's right.
they
gremlins.
have something very much against rats. I don't know what it is.
They really
But
hate rats.
They will
Really?
fucking chase them through an entire dungeon.
This guy
That's
really hates
awesome.
these
Rat.
cans.
And when you're trying to
He hates
speedrun in
cans.
BFD and you're trying to do gear swaps in between pulls, and your homoculi keep you in combat the entire dungeon, it's just you just get what you get. Homoculi are amazing and horrible at the same time. But I'll tell you, when they putting them on a boss in BFD is just insane.
Dude,
You
but
can
does
stack-
it?
when you can stack 5 Sunders and make it to where warriors don't have to do anything but just DPS off the rip, it's nutty.
Yeah, but it really does, like, it really takes a lot of your healing out to lose palm, which is a bummer. Like, no hit.
It really
Jerome's
doesn't,
been
though.
bummed
Like,
about that because
Palm
we've been
is-
making him do homoculi on like 5 of the fights.
So Palm is great, right? And in PvP, I will never not run Palm. Like, I've seen some priests run homoculi in PvP to try to get on other healers and
Mel,
constantly keep them
take
interrupted.
note of this.
Palm is single-handedly game-breaking for priests.
I
in
just like
Warsaw
my
Gulch.
mini-me's.
I know,
However-
but we were PvP the other night. And I was like, Mel, we would have lived if you would have had palm up. And she's like, no, my homoculi are better. Like, no, I'm better than your homoculi. And if I live, we win. Like,
If I'm open world and there's like one person that comes on me, my homoculi are much better.
okay, but
That
it
is
was
true.
4, and I was able to kill 2 of them and almost kill the 3rd, but I
You expect
died.
me to know that we're going to get jumped by 4 people instead of by 1? Like, this is my problem with you.
Dude, if she had palm on, it would have been epic. Would have been like, bro, you guys just got fucking worked by 2 people.
Hey, we have
Palm's
2
super
priests
mana
in Beer
efficient,
League
but
tonight,
it definitely
though.
gets stuck. It gets stuck on random things, right? Unless you're running a good Palm tracker and you're throwing like
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
if it gets
renew
stuck in a
doesn't
pet and
proc
you gotta
it.
keep heals on it.
Yeah,
I do
renew
like that
doesn't
you
proc
can
it.
push it, like because
can.
in Wrath you can't push it, right?
Right.
You're just kind of like, oh, I gotta wait for it to be back up for it to get off this stupid pet that it's been chilling on for the last 10 seconds. But I did download a palm tracker because the one I had wasn't really working, and I don't know if this one's really working either. So maybe we'll see.
All right. We need to get into some other stuff because we need to get to the discussion part. So I might skip news if we don't get to that. So let's do this. Let's
Yeah,
do
he's threatening us.
one of the voicemails right now.
Hey Bob, this is Dirio from Crusader Strike, the Horde, playing a Hunter in Season of Discovery, and starting a Warrior alt, and wondering what mains and what alts you're playing right now in SoD, and what your intentions are through the rest of the phases. Are you planning on rolling up a new alt or a new main, swapping mains at 40, 50, 60? Would love to hear your thoughts on the meta right now and what you think is going to change at the next phase, implementation and beyond. I myself am just loving Hunter. It's been there's been a lot of peaks and then some nerfs, and the meta's changed in a way where it feels like the class is really being forced to adapt, and that's been nice, and it's been strong throughout. So I'm really enjoying Hunter. And got to be honest, I'm not loving Warrior too much. Not 25 yet, not geared out, but leveling the Warrior sort of as a hedge, you know, and just in case the traditional 60 meta really takes hold at the end and everyone's running Warrior, I'd like to have one ready to go. Anyway, love the show. Thanks a lot.
All right, let me start off by saying
No. Can I just say one thing before you even respond to this? The fact that he just addressed Bob, I feel like we shouldn't even take this voicemail. We should just
True.
delete it and be
Go to
like,
the next
"Listen,
one.
yeah, you can
True.
talk to Bob separately on your own time, but you don't want our opinions." So,
well, he didn't know if there would
I
be
feel
any
about it.
other
I play both those
warriors
classes he
on
was
the
talking about,
podcast. So, all right.
I
So,
mean, I could give some great feedback on that question. I'm just saying.
all right. Warrior is always I hate
Dog
my
shit
life
class.
now, but it'll be worth it in the future class. And we're already seeing that now. They're the number 2 damage overall as we speak today, just underneath Rogue, how it should be. But yeah, they are good. They are going to take a little bit more work. You are going to need every consume you could possibly get. I mean, this is the way vanilla was too at level 60. Like, you know, that's when you come online. But they're probably going to come online at the end of each phase, and having one is not a bad call. That's going to be the last thing that I make just because I'm enjoying the PvP right now. But it is really good, but it takes work. So I'll let Zunder do this question first, just because he is playing both the classes. I'm playing Hunter at the moment, working that up, but Zunder has been having a little bit of struggles with the Warrior too. So he probably is the best one to maybe answer this.
Yeah, so I've been playing Warrior. I started Warrior first, then made a Hunter, then a Druid. And Warrior, like, it does good damage, but at level 25, you really don't have anything to press besides Heroic Strike and Hamstring. And, you know, you have Rend and everything, but it's just kind of lame. And then the runes they made aren't really extra buttons either, besides, I think it's Raging Blow, and then you have Quick Strike if you're two-handed. So it just feels like you're missing a lot of buttons to press, and it's engaging because you have to manage your rage with all the runes you have, but it's not as fun as I was hoping it would be, in my opinion. Does good damage. Hunter was OP. They nerfed it 5-6 times now. That was a solid pick. I think with Warrior you really just need all your consumes. Rage pots are a big deal, so you can get up to that 80 rage threshold and hover around there for consume by rage, I think it's called. That's kind of the biggest thing, just hovering around 80 rage and keeping your damage increase up. But it'll definitely get better later. But I'm kind of in the same boat. I made it first because I've always been a warrior main, but it's kind of boring at the moment. If you play two-hander, it's a bit more fun, but it's allegedly worse. So gear reliant,
Great
consume
PvP
reliant.
too for the two-hander. Get that
Yeah,
deadly
good-
strike, go crush
yeah.
people.
In PvP, it's been pretty. You need a pocket healer or something. Get the Warbringer rune. Even I haven't even bothered getting it. I haven't bothered PvPing much on the warrior, but I've heard even with Warbringer, it's still painful in 1v1s. But if you have a good Warsong Gulch group or something, that'd probably be fun.
Yeah, even with all the nerfs, Hunter's still just ridiculously strong. I mean, people are out in the world. It all depends on what you want to do, right? People are out at level cap right now, kiting and killing like 35 to 38 elites.
Razor
Yeah,
Fin
Hunter
Crawl.
can do whatever you want.
But yeah,
Hunter,
people are in
basically.
RFK, just making money hand over fist. Or
That's
what
why
people are.
I'm literally working up the Hunter because I planned to like have my rogue sit in there, then my druid after, so I could get the freaking shoulders. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a hunter,
great.
and I was kiting and killing mobs in Tenaris, and I found a level 38 BOE blue for next phase.
oh,
Hunters are so stupidly broken, and it's because of the shoot mechanic.
oh,
Yeah,
I've been.
I was trying to get.
And this is after the nerf to it, because they said when they were dropping SoD that they were doing something to hunters to prevent them from, because they don't have glancing blows. They're doing something to inhibit their ability to tag and hit other higher level mobs. Whatever it was, doesn't seem to work.
Didn't work.
Dude, okay,
It did
so
not work at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
so get this. Like, I made a hunter 2 days ago. He's level almost 17 now, and I've been really slacking. I've been watching my other tunes doing Ashen Veil every time it's up, really just putzing around, and he's worked up so fast. And today I got a gun that was way better than the bow I had. So I'm like, oh, well, this is going to suck because like I'm used to being a rogue or a warrior, and it sucks for a time to get that back up. Dude,
Yeah, with
I was hitting everything
Yeah,
with
that's the other thing. You don't really,
with zero guns. Like I was just like, what the fuck is going on right now?
You don't
Everything's
really
dying
boost damage
immediately.
like you do with
Oh my god.
melee weapons for some reason.
Oh my god.
There's like the mechanic of the game. Trackzuit mentioned it, the glancing blows and stuff. It's just when you shoot or throw a weapon, there's less dice rolls that the game does internally that
No
tells
parry,
the game
no
whether or
dodge.
not you hit that or don't hit that shot. Right?
Oh, dude, and people have been like rogues have been sleeping on quick shot. Quick shot
Oh,
does
it's so sick.
Dude, if you get a slow gun or a slow bow, that shit fucking pumps, and it doesn't matter that it's slow because with the move it's instant. So you want to
and
get
you
the
can cast it
slowest
while you're
gun you
running.
possibly can. Yeah, and it looks
Yeah, it's
cool
like warrior
as
main
shit.
hand abilities.
Mhm.
It looks so
premise,
cool.
Top end.
Yeah, same.
That's
I mean,
super fun.
rogues are the same if you're going the sword, like the sword combat route. I mean, I guess it's the same for if you're going backstab route. You want a big, thick, heavy dagger for your main hand. But yeah, dude, but
Thick.
to go back to the warriors,
Earthy
though,
dagger.
Heavy.
to be fair, warriors have never, ever in the history of vanilla been good at PvP without a pocket healer. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
yeah,
They've
That's
also
why
never
Warrior
been.
Classic
They're
fans
probably
good.
the best early now than they've ever been. Like you weren't doing this
Yeah,
much
before
True.
early on.
25, like,
Yeah. People
Even-
complaining on warrior speed right now. Shit.
yeah. Like, do you remember leveling a warrior in hardcore, right? Like, before 25, I mean, you're crap.
So my dumbass, the first time I ever played WoW was in Classic, and I played a warrior, and I was like, I'm going to tank. I'm going to learn how to tank. So I leveled completely in prot because I didn't know
I
that.
remember
Oh,
you tell me
God.
about
No.
that. That's so funny.
I didn't know that there was a smarter way to do it. I was like, well, I need to be prot to tank, so I'm just going to level in prot.
I need
I
to
got
dodge
to-
more.
Yeah, it was AIDS. It was so bad.
And
That's
now
terrible. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm sorry you
in
had
like-
to deal with that.
in Wrath, it's the smartest way to
Well,
level one from like 1 to
Oh.
80.
It would
so I had that warrior. He stopped at 54 when our guild changed to Horde instead of Alliance, and so I just left him there poor guy had Titanic leg
You're like,
plates
I'm not
and
taking you with
Lionheart
me. You're
blueprint.
not worth it.
And so then I come back at Wrath and we're Alliance again. And I'm like, I'll move him over. So I moved him over from Classic to Wrath. And sure enough, this guy, I'm like, I'll start leveling him. So I put him, he's still in Prot. So I was like, I'll try this this Retal and shit. And just, I got to 80 in like, a few hours.
Oh, yeah.
It was ridiculous.
You pull 55 mobs and press the revenge button, and
Revenge,
then they all fall over. Yeah, that's
and
rough.
then you get used to that, and you play Season of Discovery and press revenge, and it hits for 6.
And it hits
like,
for, yeah.
And then you take it off your bars, and then you delete the warrior, and then you make a hunter.
That's what I was gonna say too. Is like tanking or not tanking, playing DPS warrior and BFD. It's gonna be most fun if you're like accidentally tanking the boss the whole time because you're gonna have rage.
You're gonna have rage.
Luckily for you, you're in beer league on your warrior, and you're accidentally taking the boss all the time. Because I'm the main tank of beer league.
Oh,
and
I do feel like that is so hard going from Wrath to SoD. Is like I play a priest in both, right? So I'm like, I get to SoD and we like go into BFD and I'm like, shield. Nope, I can't do that. I cannot
don't
just shield
do that,
everybody.
please stop.
And now I'm out of mana.
No, I spec'd. I got the rune, and I was like, you know what? I'm using it, and I start throwing shields at people, and people are like, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you shielding a warrior?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I got you." And they're like, "Wait, I'm still getting rage." I'm like, "Exactly."
What does that rune do? I never read it.
Oh wait, which rune is that? There's
it's
another
the chest
rune
piece
that, like,
rune. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's.
Is that the penance? Is that where penance goes to though? No,
that's hands. So I use penance and hands, homunculi in gloves, in legs, and then that rune.
Oh, so it's a dot that
it replaces Void Plague. Yeah, you can either do Void Plague or that, or whatever.
I probably should use that.
Barrier that's chest too, or
no, barrier is also legs. So legs is super strong because it's got palm, barrier, and homunculi on it. So when I do AoE, I do barrier into Mindseer, and then when I do, anyway, the rune, it basically. Druids and warriors, any rage building class still benefits from absorb damage. So they still gain full rage the same way, but you can actually shield them.
More than that too, or?
It does. Well, it also does more than that. So like if you,
I was going to say that would be kind of a niche rune if it just.
No, nothing that matters really for this phase, but for later, it basically any heals that are cast on that person, if it's a specific type of heal, reduces their.
The debuff.
The debuff, yeah.
But if you're not like damaged, if you're just healing, like I don't ever put my dot up when we're in BFD, so I should just make that rune active anyways. Yeah,
if you have warriors, like, because then a warrior could taunt the boss. You throw the shield on, he gets some huge rage. Then the tank taunts it back. Like that's a time to use it. Druids, you're not going to see a druid tanking in BFD right now unless they're trolling. So
yeah, they just do too much damage.
Yeah, they're a really bad tank.
Terrible.
It's really bad at the moment. They're struggling hard. But
I tried tanking Wailing Caverns on the druid, and it was like,
dude, same. And I was so embarrassed. I was so and they were funny. They're like, all right, do you want to run again? I was like, no, I sucked. I was really bad. They're like, no, you weren't too bad. And I was like, dude, I didn't have threat on anything. They were like, we had threat on the bosses. It was
really bad for me too, because I was like level 19 and they were all like 23. So I was just like in bear form, didn't have cap form yet. I'm like, yeah, guys, I'm helping out. See, I taunted this one 6 times.
Oh, it's horrible. I felt
this one 6 times.
I felt so embarrassed. But yeah,
But at least it'll
be
Zunder
something that's cool.
Play it off like, oh, well, you guys are higher level. That's why I couldn't keep threat, right? Bob
There's no need to be embarrassed though. Like this. Yeah. This is the whole point of why I run a raid called Beer League with Lesmos. Dude, it's level 25 classic WoW. Like
in dungeons, it's worse though.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be the most like fun driven meta of all time. This shit
I had fun. I was just embarrassed. That's
You
all.
shouldn't be embarrassed. You should be like, I'm a fucking druid and I can't tank at this level, so I'm gonna swipe these whenever I can.
But-
if you don't like it, get
Swipe
over it.
every
and
30
then-
seconds
and
when
then
you
proceed to
actually hit
have
your
fun.
But I'm good at the game, and I don't like it when it doesn't show. I really hate it. Like, I'm good at the fucking game. Like, that's just all there is to it. Like, and
Listen, I told Winky this
it
last
bugs
night,
me.
or maybe not last night, the night before we ran Beer League. And Bob was like, before Beer League, Bob was like, hey, Melt, sign up for this raid. And I was like, okay. So I signed up because he told me to sign up. And I'm like, I don't really care who we run with. Like, I know a lot of these people, right? So, like, cool, we'll get to run with the other people that we know.
Yeah, pummel rugs.
So we signed up. And first of all, I've been in BFD once before
Prior to
this
that.
run that I'm about to go into, okay? And I
Also
get in
Beer
there.
League.
Yeah, yes, and it was a Beer League run.
Hell yeah.
And I was like,
well, no,
Well,
you
no,
went to
it
the
was,
Beer League
it was-
It was
alt
the
run.
alt run, yeah.
yeah.
You-
Even better. And so then I was like, that was so much fun. I was like, all right. So like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I get in there,
Oh,
and
is
it's
this the
like
speed
this
run?
like super speed run. And I'm like, what?
Well,
Wait a
and
minute.
on top of that,
One.
Rugs just like Pummel was so upset with him. Rugs just like Shadow on the spot was like, all right, we're gonna do the huge pull where we pull the boss and all the turtles. Everybody should be good. Warrior grab a threat, and the warrior just failed. Like he just failed,
Oh,
and
no.
then everybody
The healers
wiped.
were at half
Oh my
mana.
god!
The healers were at half mana. Like, we're just running around. I'm like, I need to drink. I was not prepared for this type of stress right now. Like, what is happening?
Speedrun
Like,
healing is a whole different game. Even like for
Yeah.
any other class, healing I feel like in speedruns is so stressful.
It's so
Yeah, I was
different.
like,
Go ahead.
getting so stressed out that like I was just like, this is not. I was like, Bobby, I want to go back to the Beer League. I want to
Hell
go play with
yeah.
the Beer League.
Hell yeah,
we can
Beer
play with the
League
Beer League
gamers.
now.
Dude, I love all type. Like I love all types. You know, like I love the
I might
Beer
have
League. I
been-
love being involved in the like pumper runs. I love being like this is gonna be the first time I'm trying speed running type of stuff. Like I've always been a parser. Like I've parsed well
If I
throughout
had
all of
been more
Classic,
prepared-
but
If I had been more prepared, or I knew exactly what the dungeon bosses did, like
definitely.
I've only done it once, so I was just like, I'm totally gonna fuck this up for them. They're gonna hate me. They're never gonna invite me back again. I'm not gonna sign up because I don't want to not be invited back. No, not really. But I was just like, oh my god, this is way too much. This is way more than I signed up for. That I thought I signed up for. But
Yeah,
I
Rugs
know.
just runs them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we can never do that because we have Wrath Raid.
darn. To be
Yeah.
I
fair,
don't know.
in the Beer League alt run, Kala was raid leading, and I had done the only bosses I had done were the bosses that we did at BlizzCon, right?
Mhm.
And they're different even. So
Yeah.
he was like, every boss after the like first two bosses, he was
Mel,
like,
you know what you're doing?
he was like, has anybody not done this? And I was like, I haven't done this. And then by like the third one after, I was like, okay, can you just assume that I have
Yeah.
not done any of the, like, do you have to keep making me say that I have not done this? Kala, like, come on.
Mel, have you done this
Like,
one? I know you haven't. Have you done it?
Right?
I think
You
it's,
come on
it's
camera and raise your
important-
hand, please.
It's important to realize that we are level 25 doing a 10-man version of a 5-man dungeon that is stupid easy with runes that are making our characters way stronger than they should be at this level.
Yeah,
Like,
but Wiki,
so there has been
you
loot
make it
drama,
harder.
Bob.
You
There's
make it
been-
harder.
Yeah, I'm well. Good. I
Yeah.
should make it harder.
Yeah, you like Wiki took us into BFD with no interrupts.
Yeah,
And he's like,
and
we're
guess
doing
what?
hard
We did
mode.
That's how
fine.
easy it is.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
guess what?
but
We
we
did
had it.
fine.
No, I had to change my fucking rune off so I could
Oh,
interrupt.
no.
you
We
didn't
would've
have
been
to,
fine.
Bob, I'll link you the log of the last 3 beer leagues we've done with no interrupts. It's fine. No wipes. We just pump the boss. No problem. You spread out. You don't stand in purple stuff. You kill the boss. It's not that hard,
Dude,
right?
on boss 6, the interrupts are pretty important for chains.
they're not. Like, Kelleris is so you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need shadow protection pots. You don't need kicks. You just spread out. Don't stand in shit, and you're fine.
I will say though, I tried doing a raid with some real life friends. I had like 3 or 4 of them, and they don't play much anymore. They're the ones who got me into WoW, but they don't play much anymore. And we were trying to do Kelris, and holy fuck, it went bad.
Oh no.
Everyone was doing like 50 DPS, and then I was on my hunter doing like 200, and I was like, I don't think we can do this with this much damage.
Yeah,
Wiki,
that was a
I
funny
feel like
thing.
the beer league,
Wiki,
the beer
you
league
like
is still
forget
good
though.
Players.
Yeah, exactly.
people that
Wiki,
wanna have
you
fun,
are a
right?
good player, and you forget that the majority of people are not good players. You just hang out with fucking elite players. So
Yeah, I don't like playing with them though.
but so you see yourself as not good, but you're a very good player. Like
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that.
That's basically what it boils down to. And that's what
It's very
Zunder's
kind of you to
pointing
say
out
that.
here is that he went with people that didn't know stuff and it was a shit show.
I think
Yeah,
for
I
me,
mean-
I play
Oh,
this
go ahead, Mel.
game. I love to play this game, and I like to be sweaty casual. I think this is what I've realized. I like to be sweaty casual. I like to have fun while I'm playing. I like to enjoy the people that I'm playing with, and I like to get a little bit better every time. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
just be content with like being shitty, right? But I also don't have the time, I think, to push myself to that next level. Like, I'm not a full time.
So when we
Wow
and
person.
Lesamos made Beer League, for those of people that are listening, they're like, why do they keep saying this Beer League word? It's just the name of our raid group. We just call the raid group Beer League. When me and Lesamos
Can you give him a
made
taste of the certified beer league?
I don't
Hit
think I
the
have it. Do you
button.
have it, Zunder?
I might be able.
Yeah.
To.
see if
Oh, I
can-
thought you
see
had
if
a-
You can hit the button.
This was a certified beer league moment.
Perfect.
So
You need to send me that file.
Okay, also I can send that to you. But the Beer League, the idea is that we're just having fun. And that's first, like, priority number one is to have fun on raid night. And priority number two is to just be efficient with everyone's time, right? So, like, don't suck at your class. Don't come in not knowing what you're doing. But also, it's not serious. If you wipe, you wipe. Who cares? You just run back. It's so fun. Like, the difference between a 45-minute BFD and a 30-minute BFD is not worth the sweat that you put into those 15 minutes, in my opinion, right?
Well, I mean, what about like an 18
I don't know. I have
minute
fun. I have fun
BFD?
with that sweat.
Well, and I think there is
but
time
that's
and
different
place.
ways to play the game, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah,
like,
it's
if I
totally
had a
fun, though.
character that I wanted to sweat really hard on, and I've done that. I've been trying to do speed running before, and I love speed running, like 5-man dungeons even, and we've hosted tournaments and stuff. Like, it's cool when you have a like-minded group of people.
That's
that
what I
are
was gonna
all
say.
down
You
to
just
do
need everyone needs to be on the same page, or else it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like for speed.
Yeah.
running.
I
Bob
will
should
say,
have
though,
told me
that
I
the-
was signing up for a speed run. Is basically
Okay,
where we're at. So it's
It wasn't
thoughtful.
a speed run. Rugs just always
It was a
wants
rugs
to
run.
speed. Yeah, it was a rugs run. Like, that's just, you're going to go fast, period. Like, that's like, and you're just gonna, and you learn going through it. Like, you learn, oh shit, I should have thought prior and done this, and it's a neat thing. And like, speed runs aren't even parsing runs, really. Like, they're like, the biggest thing is stay alive. So for a speed run, you might even gear completely differently than you would for a parse run. You probably have
More
a lot
stam.
more stam. Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're not requiring the healer to have you topped at all times. You're doing more defensive cooldowns, like to actually keep yourself alive. It's a really neat, different dynamic that I've never got to do before, and I'm excited. So yeah, but
this is the first time I've ever done speedrunning as well, where I'm at, and it's been truly eye-opening just to see like how players push the game or how players push their characters to the limits, and that's what's appealing to me. But I understand 100% that it's not for everyone, and I respect that.
not for most people.
What I see the problem is, though, right, and this goes back to kind of Winky's comments about Wowhead a little earlier, right, is we can say all day that the resources exist and you don't have to read them because we're all trying to discover and figure out what's fun. But when people have already, quote unquote, set the meta for something, that doesn't let people have fun, right? If you go in there and you're like, I want a bear tank in BFD, like, you're not going to get a group. You go in there and
You
you're
could
like,
come to the beer league.
This is why you come to the beer league
league.
tracksuit. We brought Kala in on a Shadow Priest before Shadow Priests got buffed. Guess what? Kala did like 32 DPS, right? But you know what? Kala had the most fun, and we had no issue.
And you know
clearing
what?
the
With
raid.
that 32 DPS, rank 1.
One world, yeah. So then the new beer league meme was that Kala is the rank 1 shadow priest in the world, right? Because we were one of the only raid groups that allowed someone to play as shadow priest, right?
But that's the point, right? We're trying to figure that stuff out, and when I think we're doing a good job of it, and I think that's where when you get people that are at pushing the envelope and trying other tiers of stuff, like we've had shadow priests in some of our fastest clear times too, and it's because they can just really add to those chain pull AOE. And they can off heal if needed, but they also do a good bit of boss damage and debuffs on the boss that you can't bring. So other ways. So that's good. But like, I think, we're at the luxury of doing that, but I think people settle into whatever, I want the easy button. I want to discover, but only a little bit of discovery. I'm going to discover the Wowhead page that tells me how to play my spec.
Yeah, right.
And then not like figure it out. And right, like I'm playing a shaman as an alt right now, just trying to level it up and tank. And, you see on there, it's like, oh, you want a big, slow one-hander for Rockbiter, and you want, probably more agi than strength, but maybe more strength than agi for blocks. And I'm just like, I'm stacking agi and int gear. And it's not optimal, but it's a different way to play it. And I have more spell up time, and it's just fun, right? So yeah, I'm enjoying it. And I think that's kind of the thing. So I hope that people that are listening are like, don't worry about what's meta defining at 25, because guess what? Everything's going to change. And if you enjoyed and picked up some feral tanking gear, and then at 40, feral tank is just the shit because it's awesome, and you're like, oh,
I was the feral tank
when nobody else. Everything's going to get better, or
it's change, or become a lot better.
And they said specifically, every tank is situational. They don't want one tank to rule them all. So you're not going to have a warlock tank, even as good as they are at something, tank Ragnaros, because it's going to be real hard to keep threat on that guy with fire spells only.
True, actually, like, true.
there's going to be some shit where like you're going to have to use different things, and play what you want, enjoy it, and then like if you're don't worry about what looking for group says. Like if you are in a group run and it's not fitting for you, then just don't play with those people, right? Like there's so many people playing this. Find people that are tolerant and have a good time.
Yeah, and I do have a bit of advice.
It can be hard to find that. In all honesty, it's like
true.
Some people, a lot of the WoW community now, despite how much people complain about, oh, they're not letting me into this, they're not letting me into that. It's true.
That same person saying that didn't let somebody in their fucking raid just the night before.
I'm saying. Like, stop complaining if you're not going to let the feral tank.
Bro, I've been hearing people say the word gear score.
I love
level 25.
I'm 308 gear score on my rogue. You guys can suck it.
Bob, was it you? Did you tell me your gear score? And I think and my response was, don't you ever fucking tell me your gear score ever again.
And I was like, dude,
I don't care, dude.
It's just it's for one, letting you know if I'm coming to your raid, I already have some stuff, so I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna take all the gear from everybody. It's letting you know that I've done the raid. I love gear score and watching it like go up. What I hate is that the fact that my PvP gear score is so much higher than my actual like DPS gear score because like there's some greens that are really fucking good.
Gear score is not
and they're
really
in there.
classic for the most part.
Yeah, gear score puts that 2 agi 5 int BFD drop above a 6 stam 6 int drop for a green, right? And it's like
it makes sense
dumb.
because everything's like, this is clearly better than this, and this is clearly
also
better
most
than
people are getting their gear score from Taco Tip or a different add-on that gives you that don't have the stat values or weights for any of the BFD gear. So people were like Clevis, amazing.
I mean, all the BFD gear
awesome.
is 30.
Puts on a purple
it's all 30
that he's got, and it drops his gear score by a ton because it just doesn't exist in Taco Tip.
Exactly.
And so like it doesn't matter because nobody in our organization gives a shit about gear score. But like when you go to post it or say something, or somebody's like, oh, I'm a big dick Chad with a 400 gear or 400 gear score, and it's like, well, then you probably don't have these purple items, because if you did, your gear score would actually read lower because it's not registered.
Yeah, you're talking about those three. I think Taco's fixed that now, but yeah, those three are off. All the blues from the last 2 bosses are like 33, and all the blues throughout the dungeon are 30. Like, so
But that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not a good piece for
Arbitrary
you. Like, don't
number.
wear it. Exactly.
Yeah, but it's still, if the person is wearing the right things, it's a good gauge of like how geared they are. And I just love gear score. I love every time I put a new piece on in Wrath, I love looking at it and be like, oh, now I'm up to
I like it in Wrath,
6350.
honestly, but
I don't
in,
think
I played a Holy Paladin
Fire.
and Wrath, and like when you were wearing a 187 blue trinket
Yep.
because
oh
it's
yeah,
the
it
best.
sucked ass on Holy
Like, yeah, like, oh, my gear score is only this, and they're like, whoa, you're a scrub. I'm like, dude, I have a blue
Here,
trinket.
look, if I
And they're
change my trinket, it goes up 6,000.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
this
but
is
see,
fucked up.
I
It's
feel
such a
like you're
flawed
If you're
not
thing.
hanging with people in
gear
the know,
score
they
enjoyer,
know
though,
that.
Bob.
Like they know that this certain gear score is great for that type of paladin because they know that like.
Because they know the clef, but you're assuming people know that. People don't.
Yeah, that's
people
no,
just want
that's
the
what
highest.
No, I'm
number.
not.
about
No,
is like-
I'm saying if you're hanging with people that know what they're doing, like then you don't have to deal with that. The majority of people don't. Like
But if
they
you
have
hang
no
with
clue.
people that know what they're doing, you don't need to talk gear score.
Oh, but we love it. We're like, dude, I just went up to this. Oh, nice. It's just like raising level. It's like it gives you that endorphin boost, and yeah, I don't know.
It's just an EP, man.
I know.
Yeah, I think
And my
you're less
EP
addicted to
is
gear
almost
score,
as
Bob,
big as
and
mine.
you're more addicted to just feeling like you're progressing in something, right? Like feeling that, like, oh, I
That's
feel like I'm
exactly what it
stronger
is.
now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it
Yeah.
is.
But player power increasing does not directly correlate to the number of gear score. That's I guess what I'm trying to say is like gear score is a facade, right? It's not even that good in Wrath because of trinkets specifically, right? Like it's
I really hope they learn from that too. Like I'm struggling in Wrath because I can't get trinkets, and like they're literally the most important thing. It's bullshit. Like I don't want that for trinkets. I hope they keep them. Hope they keep them more stat sticks.
Can I give some unsolicited advice out to guild leaders and raid leaders right now as well?
Sure.
No.
If someone is in your BFD level 25, 10-man, 3-day lockout BFD, if they say anything about loot, kick them from your guild, kick them from your raid, put them on your ignore list. It's gonna get worse from here. Okay,
Dude, I would
if
say that
someone
about
complains about
any
a
version
loot
of the
drop
game.
in BFD, I don't care if it's an epic sword, I don't care if it's the crossbow, I don't care what it is. It's a 3-day lockout, level 25, 10-man dungeon. If you're complaining about loot, imagine that person in AQ20. Imagine that person in Molten Core. You don't want those people in your guild. Just get them out.
I take
Remove
it
them.
even further, Wiki. Just get rid of that type of person right away. Like just get rid of them, because I was that person when I came back to WoW in vanilla, and like I caused problems. Like
Did you really?
yeah, like well because.
Hey, that's big to say. Like a lot of people.
Yeah,
say that.
that's huge. Actually, yeah.
Okay,
My
well,
name's Bob, and I'm a loot whore.
It wasn't somebody. So I caused drama because our main tank took all the DPS gear. Like, I mean, literally all the time, and we were DKP. So the tanks never had to spend shit on tank gear, like specific tank gear. So they like. The other two tanks didn't do it, but this one main tank took all the best DPS gear, bam, right off the bat, and was always able to take it from anybody else because of that. And like, that's what I threw a fit about, but I shouldn't have. Like, either way, like, I've just learned that, like, fuck it, you will get it, like, when you get it. And if you don't, you don't. Like, who cares?
Classic will come out again and again.
Yeah,
again,
it's the best to just not
Season
care
of
about
imagination
it.
win.
Yeah, like, and so like it was a hard lesson for me to learn, but that was how we were. You know, when I came back to Classic, I kind of like mentally reverted back to that kid that I was before, and I think a lot of people do this because you see them bitching in BGs and shit, like grown men, like not realizing they sound like idiots, you know. And yeah, it was a tough learn for me.
every single guild in 2019, Bob, had a warrior. And when you say that, everyone knows which warrior was in their guild that I'm talking about. The warrior that caused all of the problems.
That would be our main tank. Yeah.
Was that or
Zunder.
It was the guy that I hated. Like,
yeah,
I was definitely not one that was mad another DPS got something. I was mad when the main tank took a DPS weapon he was going to use in niche situations to parse tank. Like, and that shit sucked. Whereas if it went to any of the DPS, they would have used it in every single fight. And I think that's gross. Like, I thought that was...
There's a certain level of necessary tank prio, but there's also a certain level of complete unnecessary bullshit that tanks pull to say that it's tank prio.
Oh,
he had Thunder Fury. He had Thunder Fury first, and he took the first main hand sword off of KT.
That's so sick.
So fucking gross, isn't it? So gross.
That for him.
And he was also the asshole that would we'd all go get, and we were new to getting world buffs. We were like, just like everybody else, like kind of pushed into it. We'd all go get them, and then this asshole would do the first pull with no shield and not tell the healers and not even give like a pull timer and just go in, and he'd die, and then we'd all die, and then the whole night is just like, dude, you suck, man.
Yeah,
like, you really suck.
Our first ever Nax run in Classic, we wiped the 2 packs of spiders.
Yep. He wiped us on that with world buffs. At least half of the runs we did in Nax.
This is why it's important that when you're in a raiding guild in World of Warcraft, especially Classic, you need to make sure that you're like-minded with the people that you're playing with on your raid team. Like, you need people that are similar intentions, similar personality types, even sometimes. Like, got to make sure that everyone's like, oh, am I okay getting world buffs and then losing them for XYZ? Or are we like intention? You got to do like real good, like character review when you're, looking at guild applications and all kinds of crazy shit. Which is why
when I started Classic, I was just happy to be there. I was like, oh, hey, I got some loot, cool. And then other people would get mad that I want to roll on something. I'd be like, oh, well, fuck you.
Yep,
I would never be mad someone else wants
something. Mad at me. Bob gets so mad at me because I don't roll on stuff. And I'm like, listen, I don't know. He got so mad at me when we were in Rug's run. He's like, why didn't you roll on that? And I was like, dude, I don't even know what the fuck is happening. I'm trying to have time to drink. I didn't even look at the loot. I didn't even fucking care.
Yeah, you're like, I'm a little overwhelmed right now and I don't need this.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I need this. I don't have time to think if I need this.
But hey, it's a 3-day lockout 10-man raid at level 25.
Yeah,
there will be plenty of other chances.
Pretty sure to drop again.
It's going to go on for quite a while. We still got a long time left.
Yeah.
In this phase.
Well, thank you for your voicemail.
Oh God, are we still on voicemails?
Real quickly, we're going to skip this next one just because of time, but also I'm going to ask you. I'm going to play it for you. I ask you, please. This was a good question. Please call back in and maybe close the windows. This guy was in like a tropical rainforest, like either that or he works at the bird exhibit at the zoo. But I tried to pull everything out of it. And here, I'll show you what it sounds like real quick.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
You guys doing the thing. Thank you so much for all the content and all the hard work you guys doing for the podcast. I just want to make a cool here we go.
But you asked about the phases. It is a really good question. The first part you can't make out at all, even when me try to pull stuff out. But like the second part, you can make some of that. Please just call back in and leave that same message because it was really good. But yeah, close your window because there's literally like 70,000 birds going on and they're all louder than you're talking. So
he's just laying down in Central Park with bread all over his body recording that.
Yeah, it's just
I have no clue.
Like a fetish of his or some shit.
But I like to call into podcasts as the bread man in Central Park.
Yeah,
I can only leave a voicemail if there's birds around.
I worked on it for like 15 minutes and I was like, okay, well, this is Okay, it's a really good question. But I want you to get your exact question out rather than us just try to guess what the question was. So please send that one back in, please.
I'm making a character named Breadman right now.
All right.
Yeah, right now.
We've kind of talked about.
It has to be a hunter.
We've kind of talked about the different characters we're playing, so we're gonna skip to the news and we're gonna go hard and fast.
Time for the news.
All right, Ruby Sanctum releases on what?
I just said it's very unlikely that we're going to go fast, but yes, let's go.
Well, we could go fast with the rest of. Ruby Sanctum releases January 11th. Does anybody care?
Seems early.
I don't even know what Ruby Sanctum is.
It's the final raid that they put into Wrath of the Lich King because they were.
Did you say January 11th?
January 11th.
Isn't that before the ICC's fully buffed too?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel really bad going over to
get some loot that it's going to help you go finish killing Heroic Lich King if you have.
Yeah.
Well, and everybody says
Ruby
it's
Sanctum
harder.
Doesn't really matter.
And you're going to go without the buff to Ruby Sanctum.
Does anybody else feel like they should have just fast lined this ICC buff?
Just should have put the 30% out right off the bat.
Once they brought SoD out because no one's playing it.
I actually like they haven't done too much with it. I think there's a lot of people still really trying with their guilds to get Heroic Lich King down, and they want to feel that that they worked towards something and they achieved it, you know?
I think you're wrong.
I agree with you, Winky.
I think there's a lot of people just waiting.
I agree.
Yeah, they're literally waiting for 30%.
You should have been able to toggle it. They have gammas and betas and alphas or whatever in there now.
You can toggle.
Just put a disc in there to toggle how much of that buff you want on there.
You can.
That's actually so
Zero,
true.
You can.
No, but he's saying if you wanted 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
So
give it out as 30 and then
give the month.
Oh,
yeah. Give
let
the month.
Anybody
let
do
everybody experience it as the hardest setting, and then your beef bars and your people that are going to crush it, go crush it, and then everybody else is like, man, this is hard as shit. And then they go in and they're like, all right, month's over, buffs available. You choose 0 to 30%, and then for all the parse heads out there, your logs are on different things. So hey, your logs are based on clearing at 5% buffed or 10% buffed, and then that way it settles all of it. It lets people experience the content, and it lets people that scale it around, have fun.
I think that would be cool, but at the same time, who's gonna not just put it to 30?
I know.
Well, you put it to 30 to get all the loot, and then you go back to 0 and parse, right?
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's just and maybe I'd feel differently if SoD hadn't come out, right? And I don't expect them to tailor Wrath because of SoD, and especially because they didn't know, they were, I think, optimistic about how SoD would release, but I don't think they actually knew how wonderful it was going to be. And I don't know if you guys experience this in your Wrath guilds, but
no one shows up anymore.
We've got a pro SoD and an anti SoD factions.
Oh, for sure.
We have
all the
anti-SoD.
I bet all the anti-SoD are super pro Cata, and they're worried that people aren't coming back for Cata. I can almost guarantee you dollars to donuts. That's it.
Newsflash.
We have one anti-SoD person, and he's the raid leader because no one shows up anymore.
Dude, Ale got fucked out of his fucking Shadowborn because he's playing SoD. They loot banned him. And he got fucked out of his Shadowborn with Ale 7 shards
the
left.
Number 1 Warlock tank in the world for the first couple of weeks. Casual Ale getting loot banned on Wrath to just become the best in the world at something, right?
I'm just hoping I'm able to get my last 2 fragments. Hopefully we can get one more full raid so I can get the last 2 and get Shadowborn.
See, we've still had a full raid. I mean, maybe we've gone 24 at times, but it hasn't been because of SoD. It's been because of somebody being out or something.
Yeah, I mean the buff to the drop rate of those shards too. Everybody, it's Oprah Winfrey. You get a Shadowborn.
Yeah,
you
get a Shadowborn. You get a Shadowborn.
So 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, there were 400,000 people raiding in Wrath, according to IronForge.pro, the people that log. As of last week, it was 276,000 people.
Well, you got to remember,
I think a lot of people
SoD and hardcore, right? You've got 2 other versions of classic WoW people are getting pulled to.
Well, and you have to remember, some of those were GDKPs that are no longer running because they're playing SoD and they
Yeah.
can't fill those up.
Hubbles I think he's canceling his 4th run now.
Yeah, and like
Oh,
some of
no.
those are also guilds that couldn't progress through the content, and you see the natural drop off towards the end of a phase, right? And so you can't look too much into that. But I think SoD has definitely reduced before, like people
I
would
think
raid
people
on
are at least doing
multiple
less
alts.
raids now. Yeah.
Yeah, they would raid on like
They're just playing one
6
character.
characters, right? And now they're like
Okay.
1 or 2.
I
and
went
then
from
they'll go
11
back
to
and
1.
do-
See, I don't
Yeah.
think that's okay. So I'm actually call no on that. So if we look TOGC, like when did it come out? Because okay, so basically no, like look at the graph here. I'll put it in chat and I'll put it in our chat here. Look at the graph. Like if you're going by people playing extra characters, then we should have seen a huge jump for TOGC. Like, oh, I guess we did. Never mind.
God damn it, Bob.
Just talked to myself. Okay, so we did see a
If you
huge
look at the
jump.
chart here.
Yep. But we would have seen a huge drop when ICC came out because, I mean, for me, I was rating on 4 tunes. I had to drop down to 2 when ICC came out, right?
A drop.
But like
I think I have
no,
like,
you don't. You don't see it here. You only see the drop when SoD came out.
Okay.
You're not going to
Tell
see a
me-
drop in population because people on their alts are still going to run 10 mans to stay caught up. They're not going to run the 25s, but they're going to run the 10s.
Oh, does
They're going to get some
this?
gear. It's
See-
just population. So this is
I
active logins.
never ran 10 mans in. I ran like for the first 3 weeks 10 man, but then never ran after that. In
What is this taking
Wrath of the Lich
population
King.
off of? People that have raided or just
People that-
have
logs.
logged in?
People that have a
Have-
log, an active log that's rated. And so that's like assuming that all their raids log, right? Like there's tons of guilds that are out there that don't raid log.
but
so-
only one person needs to log for them to be on
Correct.
this, though.
correct. But there's tons
Man,
of guilds
how
that
are
don't.
you in a guild that doesn't raid log? If you're in a guild that doesn't raid log, can you leave a voicemail next episode and just tell
That'd be
Bob?
interesting.
I'm really interested because like I'm not a parse Andrew. I actually hate Warcraft logs. But I feel
Most
like that's-
guilds do it for being able to see what they can correct later.
Yeah. I
That's
was
the
gonna
best
say,
part
I feel
of it.
like
That's the
I feel
only
like
part I like.
the my favorite part about raid logging is personal growth and like look, trying to do better than
That's
myself,
mine,
right?
too.
Like, so I don't know what do you get out of the game without logging?
fun
I'm
with
just
your friends.
interested, by the way. I'm just interested. I want to hear what people that don't log think.
Well, I
don't
mean, you're
log when I
probably
raid with,
not
like,
doing.
real-life friends, and
Yeah,
we
you're
just
probably not
go.
doing hard modes and stuff.
Yeah, but with my real life friends, if I'm raiding with them, I'm for sure logging because I'm going to give them the most shit they've ever had in their life. If
Well,
I
I
do
just
better
do
than
that
them,
while
right?
we're raiding. I'm like, why are
Oh,
you
true.
pressing half your buttons?
Like for healers, like it's nice to see what incoming damage was there and kind of like damage profiles, but heal parses don't matter. And people who say they do are probably the biggest dumb
Are the
people in the world.
stupidest people
But
ever.
but then like for DPS classes, I think most people like to see logs for personal improvement, right? It's a metric against yourself. So you're like, hey,
Yeah.
last time on Akumai, I did this, and this is how this piece of gear impacted my performance, or this new
Mhm.
style of rune swapping
Last time
impacted
on
my performance.
Akamai,
Or
I
even
died,
going and
then I did
looking-
again this time.
Yeah.
I stood
Or
in the
even going
corrupted
and
well
looking
and
at
died. I don't know
other-
what happened.
At
What's
other
the turtle
good
boss? I've died
players.
on that one almost every time.
Gamaru
Yeah.
or Gamera.
Yeah.
I get pushed back into a bubble and get
Yeah, someone
real quick.
always pushes you back.
Real quick, everybody knows that when everybody might not be using Foji, but or I think it's actually DBM that says it. Says AoE incoming. That's when you run away from the turtle and you wait
No,
till
we
the
pumped,
shield
what do you mean?
pops off. Then you walk back. Then you don't get pushed back into any bombs.
Bob, these raid mechanic in like add-ons like Foji and like weak auras and stuff, that is totally anti-beer league. Okay, like we
Yeah.
just don't.
It's
you don't
DBM.
believe tonight,
It's
you're
DBM that says
we
it.
have a guy.
Says
in
A-
our
I better
It's
see
the-
I better see the classic
it is
UI.
the DBM chick that goes AoE incoming.
Yeah,
and
but
then you
Bob,
just
we
walk away
literally
from the
have a
boss.
guy in beer
Movement
league
doesn't
that
have
does
any
And you
not
just
add-ons.
walk
How are they
back.
gonna know?
Yeah, he runs 0 add-ons, not
Well,
a single add-on.
Is he smart enough to walk away when the shield's about dead?
I don't know. He usually does decent.
Okay, so but like
we're not wiping.
Something's going fine.
He's fine.
as Ruggs or Jordy would say, it's rude to be bad at World of Warcraft.
No, it's not, dude. It's rude to be bad at World of Warcraft because you subscribe to this toxic meta of I'm a content creator and I have to be good in front of these people that are watching.
No, it's a mechanic. You're supposed to run away from the turtle when the bubble pops, and you're supposed to walk back.
No, you just don't.
Only
get hit by it.
Yeah, just get hit by the key.
Only the parse assholes that want the biggest uptime stay in with the bubble, or the people that are just don't know. You know what I mean?
No.
It
depends on how you do, right? Like, yeah, everybody's going to take the damage. It's raid wide half damage. So like all you do is disc shield everybody that's about to get blown into bubbles and they're fine, right? They just run back into it. Keep them in there. It's not a big deal. Or as the gentleman or lady suggested in the chat, just stand with your back to the stump. There's different ways to get around it. You don't have to run away.
Stand with your back to the stumps, pro, right there. Yeah,
that is actually professional right there. That's a good idea.
I saw Winky on the first boss on that route that's like
Breadman with stump
so knocked back, and then he got knocked off anyway.
Someone that was standing like close to the edge and knocked me off that route. Even I was like, damn it.
Dude, Zen again in chat says, stand in the mechanic. That's what healers are for. Well, just wait till Cataclysm when they can pull you to them. You're going to be pissed then.
Is that when you get life grip?
Yep, that's when they get life grip.
Then
and they might get it in Season Discovery. We don't know.
No, I think they said they weren't going to do that.
Dumbass that stands in and
bro, if they get a classic player's life grip, you know that we're just going to troll all day every day.
There was an interview where they said it like breaks the classic game or something.
Yeah, it's game breaking.
Please don't give any dude. They should have never given Death Knight's death grip because the motherfuckers won't use it in PvE at all. It's like, bro, there's a mob over there. We could be AOEing it with the rest of these and cleaving. Why haven't you gripped it this last 4 weeks? Oh, that's not just a PvP move? Yeah, it's bad. It's rude to be bad at World of Warcraft.
I can't tell you in Beer League, I can tell you how many times I would abuse that. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
It would be great.
And I feel like it would be appreciated.
It'd be just like adding on to bopping. Like bops are like how paladins troll DPS. Like, if you're a DPS and you don't have bop canceled on all of your moves, you are doing it wrong.
Fucked.
Or you just are really nice to your paladins. But there's got to be at least one paladin that hates you.
All of my buddies, when we're going for a chest in the open world, as soon as I let them start on it, then I bop them and go grab it.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
All right, well,
I still give it to them, but it's worth it.
I think the Ruby Sanctum thing. It's really dead in the water, man. And I really hope you just give the buff to people.
I care more about the 30% than Ruby Sanctum coming out at all.
Yeah, most people do not want to fucking do it. So you're going to break guilds. Just let us have the buff inside there. It's one boss. I'm just saying, don't kill Wrath of the Lich King even more than it's already been killed. We're still coming back, the raid loggers, and still raiding.
Wait, but I'm confused, Bob. How does the release of new content kill Wrath? Isn't that a good thing for the player base? They want the more raid content?
Well, no, they're not going to do it. And it's going to break up guilds because half of the people are going to be like, well, I want to do it. And then the other half are going to be like, dude, I'm not fucking doing that with no buff. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a cool mount that comes from that one, is there?
Yeah, there's so many people right now that are waiting that are just like, dude, why do we do anything until 30% in? And then there's the other people who are excited the first week we get a new 5% buff. But then the second week they're like, why don't we just take this week off? Yeah, they're like, why don't we just take this week off and we'll try next week when we go up to 15.
We didn't get it this week, so fuck it. We don't need to do it this week.
Dude, this is why I'm so glad I don't work for Blizzard. Imagine working for Blizzard and trying to handle these player issues, right?
But if you had put,
what do you do?
Jordy was right from the start. He said it from the very start on this show. They should have done 30% all at one time. you could turn off as much as you want. You could have as much as you want, but let the 30% come in. Speed runners would start doing speed runs. It would be exciting for the community to watch it. Yeah, I know the majority of people do not speed run, but I know a lot of us like to watch it. Like I wouldn't speed run in Wrath, but like I would love to watch it. Like, you know, that's fun.
Yeah. Watching speedruns is I loved that in Classic. And
I want to watch hardcore speedruns.
Oh, that would be fun too.
I like
I feel like you're gonna do that though. You need a test server, and you need to just have it to where like
you permanently clone your character over there, give it some shots, mess around.
Yeah, like and think of like if someone dies, you just cannot go into the next raid with them, right? So like they die, they're out, right? So you start with 40-man roster on a test server. You have to go through like Oni, MC, and something else, right? And then if someone dies, it's a huge time loss because you're losing 1 DPS, right?
Yeah,
that'd be super cool.
But I feel like people, I think you couldn't count them unless they were on the live server. But I think people would probably just resort to like keeping their characters on the test server and running them over and over and showing like, okay, here's how we got the record on the test server. Like, it doesn't count. But I want to see 40 lives up on the line for a speed run, a BWL, like an old school style BWL speed clear.
Someone would for sure be going down.
Yeah.
The first speed run I did in Classic was in MC, and the whole raid swapped to target me when I got mind controlled on like the first or second boss. Lost all.
By the way, this is a speeding through the first piece of news.
It's quicker to kill you and B-res you than to let you DPS other people down and take them with you.
I feel like there was at one point during 2019's relaunch of Classic, there was like an era where all of these boomed out players thought that their guild could like speed run things because they would watch YouTube videos or something of like some speed running guild clearing BWL incredibly fast. So at least at one point a bunch of guilds had a few people that were like, we're gonna speed run this. And then they realized it's really difficult to speed
hold my
run
beer.
raids. Yeah, it was a huge like gut check moment.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what kind of prep work goes into this?
Yeah,
that's what's blown me away the most about.
We have to make a spreadsheet.
Wait, I have to level a new character for a boggling route?
Dude, how else are you going to get that? And you better hope that nobody's TSM sniping your boggling routes on the neutral auction house.
Oh, and I sold my magic dust or my bag of marbles.
Oh, I used my bag of marbles on Hogger. I didn't know I would need that.
Time to remake characters.
Time to remake a whole new character.
Yep. Learned, like Chad says, learn the chicken trinket and redo engineering completely.
Yeah, you got to go gnomish and then go goblin. That's just what's got to happen.
Duh. Everybody knows that.
This is how non-hardcore I am. I've never been engineering.
That's based. I like that, Mel.
I appreciate your commitment. Tailoring and chanting priest. Good job.
I've been converted. I started 2019 with no UI add-ons and barely any keybinds, and I hated engineering. And then I slowly got converted over time to a keybind UI, LVUI enjoyer and engineering. I feel like something happened to me.
Something happened on the way to.
I think what it was I started pressing the go live button. And then people started coming out of your UI, right?
Started getting embarrassed. See,
people would come in my chat and be like, "This guy's an idiot, dude." He's like, they still do that. It's not like changing the UI helped at all.
I don't understand why people choose not to use UI modifiers, though. Like, to me, it just I just feel like it makes the game better and it makes the game easier and not easier.
And if you think you're doing,
enjoy the game better because I can have things where I want them.
And if you think you're doing it to be like a classic, a purist, a purist.
No,
I hate to break it to you, brother. We had I had X-Pearl week 3 or whatever in original vanilla. So, God, dude, the people that still use X-Pearl, please stop. By the way, But like,
Yeah, X Pro is not good. Don't
dude,
use
it
X Pro.
was great. It was what we had back in vanilla. It was great
Was
then.
it the UI one?
It was all that you could get, but it's ugly as shit now, guys. Stop using it.
Yeah, don't use it. Go to
For
LVI.
SoD, I haven't changed my UI like from default, but in Wrath,
I like
do.
the default UI, to be honest. Like,
Honestly, I didn't
in-
change my UI.
I don't even know what the
Classic
default
until
UI
like
looks like.
nearly the end of Sunwell.
Well, they allowed it to be more customizable now, even the default UI. Now that it's on the Dragonflight client,
Dragonflight,
it's caught up. So you can make the default UI work for you. I mean, you can, and a lot of people just don't like clutter on their screen. Like I'm the guy that needs everything around because I've got such bad ADHD and I like to look at shit. But
me too.
There's a lot of people that don't want any distractions in their screen and they memorized where all their keybinds are because they're not, dumb like me and move their keybinds.
They just
every
have a
couple
different
minutes.
type of autism.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. When I
say
did
that.
what was it that I was doing? I did TBC launch was when I switched to LVUI from just classic UI. And now when I play classic, I just use dominoes and just do action bar changes.
That's what I do.
I use
and then I turn off
dominoes
a bunch of other
and
stuff.
shadowed unit frames.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
Wrath,
I
I
use
use
that in
Bartender,
Wrath,
but it always fucks with the bite on that vampire boss. You have to click.
Yeah. It is weird though. I like when I play Wrath, I have to be using LVUI now. Like I hate playing Wrath not LVUI, but when I go back to SoD or hardcore, it's just dominoes. I can't play with LVUI in classic.
Yeah,
I like LVI in classic. I just don't. I'm not super smart on customizing it. Even though there's a million YouTube videos out there and profiles you can download, I just don't get in there and do it. So I'm pretty much just default LVUI.
Oh, dude, I had the LVUI god in my Discord, and he was helping me set it up. Do you guys remember Abide? He's a warrior. He called me and was just like giving me 100% LVUI and like wizardry that I needed right when I downloaded it. It was very nice.
See, that's what you need.
That's what I need.
It really is what you need.
Yeah. Anybody out there in Twitch land want to buy LVUI tutorials?
Right.
Yeah. My friend has like this super nice UI. He does all his own weak ores, his own UI. And I'm like, oh, mine will never look like that. I just put all my bars into the middle and that's it.
Yeah.
There's people that sell their UI. Like they like they make it, then they sell it. Yeah.
Yep.
Londo could do that. Everyone tries to use his UI.
Yep. You should be a Patreon for Foji, and then you just have everything taken care of. All right. So next, the sign up for the Cataclysm Beta is out. If you want to check that out, check the link in the description. The Darkmoon Faire, we talked about it last week, but the Darkmoon Faire is active once again. It's going to be every 2 weeks in Season of Discovery. So definitely look forward to that. Did any of you brave the Goldshire and get your DMF?
Got my ass handed to me.
Yep.
I got it on both of my characters.
Full 40-man raid. We rolled up there and got it for everybody.
Oh, see, I just did it stealth.
I got the buff, ran away, and then a rogue ambushed me and I died.
I did not go get it because I don't care about DMF for Beer League.
Yep, I lost it in beer league on what was it? Wednesday.
I'll get it when it's at Thunderbluff, but I'm not going to Elwynn for that, dude. I'm just gonna get clapped by a bunch of Asmongold viewers. It's not okay.
It is interesting how many people are there to run interference for those streamers.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. I remember it was the end. It was closing of the Goldshire one, or sorry, the Mulgore one last DMF, and there were some streamers that were coming out to grab it, and they ended up on our layer for whatever reason, and we just went there and defended Mulgore until they layer hopped and found a new layer because we're like, we're not letting you guys get this buff. We don't care.
Right.
That's what we did.
Stream sims you bring in with you, like it doesn't matter.
Got the buff, didn't they?
Well, they still got it because they layered off, but like we're gonna make you layer off.
The level was higher. We're gonna make you work for it.
Yeah, you're not getting a free one just because your cronies are coming up and dying and making human walls around you. No,
I feel you.
You're getting off this layer.
I like playing on the.
We need to build a wall around this layer.
Oh, I love it.
It's fun to have those kind of battles that crop up.
Definitely.
Right? Like, today, Graves was getting dominated in Ashenvale, and he just like rage quit and was just like, "Chat, I need like 20 of you to come out here and just kill Alliance with me." Like he was just so pissed.
Hit him with the news team assemble.
Yeah, dude, it was so funny.
Bob was freaking griefing this one, not griefing, but he kept killing this one character that was apparently in the same guild as our Wrath Guild, who plays Alliance. And so all of a sudden we got jumped by like
Everyone
7
from your
people
guild.
from
Hold
our
on.
Wrath Guild.
Hold on. Let me give the narrative correctly. This asshole, and I will tell you that his, her, I have no idea who they are, but their name is they, them, and they kept coming and trying to kill me, and I kept laying waste to them. Literally, I was at 4th life one of the times, and they jumped me, and I still killed them. And this was the person that they came to like help. So
I think it was an excuse. They just wanted to kill us, truly. But they didn't.
That was me on an
kill
alt.
us.
Yeah,
No.
sorry.
Me and
Yeah,
Winky teamed
no.
up to try to come get
Yeah.
you guys.
They were
If
all.
you see
they
Bread
were
Man
all-
coming at
we
you,
could
run.
see-
Yeah, well,
We
you
could
know,
see all
Breadman
their
was
names.
taken.
We
Bread
could see all
Man
their
and
names.
Bird Eater.
And Yip killed me once, and then they all just stood there and like hung out with me, waiting for Bob to res so they could kill Bob
That's
again.
so
and I
funny.
almost killed Casimo Resing. It was great.
I haven't had too many issues playing meta Warlock in World PvP. If it's like a 1v1, 1v2, I can usually just spam Searing Pain and win.
Yep.
Especially if they're not if
Drain
they're
and
like a
run and kite 'em.
warrior, right?
It's annoying.
Yeah, if they're a warrior, it's game over.
Not a
right?
priest.
You.
You're not gonna kill my priest.
I'm
You're
on
probably
my
gonna kill
warrior
my
every time
We
I
should
see
duel,
someone in the
Mel.
world. I'm like, oh, I gotta run away.
After Beer League, we'll duel Mel.
Listen, you could probably kill my priest, but maybe not Zach's priest. You know,
Maybe not. Yeah.
Trackzuit's
I
priest.
always lose to
You could kill my priest for sure.
I lose to hunters and I lose to sometimes I lose to priests.
You
Penance
probably
slabs.
just lose to the hunter pet, not even
Penance
the
does
hunter.
that.
Yeah,
If only
I
it had a
start
better
going the
spell
hunter
power
pet, I'll be
coefficient.
fine. Yeah, penance. This shit slaps,
Listen.
dude.
All right.
It does.
And then in other news, we have new tailoring recipes that are available. Check the notes to see where those go. And then the last piece of news.
Wait,
And-
Bob, I know that you want to go fast, but I have to say something about this. It's going to save your viewers, okay? I'm going to save someone's life right now.
Okay.
Like
The
mine.
new tailoring recipes are called Invoker's Mantle and Invoker's Cord, okay? They are very, very good items that require 150 or whatever it is, maximum tailoring right now, okay? There are people scamming with the BOE World Drop Magician's Mantle. It's a 9-int, 5 spell power shoulders, right? That were previously BIS. Don't get tricked into buying those, because now with the new tailoring recipes, you can buy better shoulders for 80 silver on the auction house. Meanwhile, there's people that I've seen that are buying Magician's Mantles for like 20 gold.
Gold, yeah.
Don't do that.
And they're getting gypped. They're getting ripped off. So just be aware.
Hey,
If you're a Clothy user, don't go buy a Magician's Mantle. Just go buy an Invoker's, shoulder item. You're good.
if they're buying something for 20 gold, then they're probably buying gold.
Yes.
20 gold's not too bad to get. You can fish 20 gold.
I'm an
Fishing's
herby.
great.
I'm an herby boy on my hunter, and I've herbed probably 50 gold worth of herbs so far.
Oh,
Not bad.
One cell.
I've made
King's Blood.
I've made a good like 150 to 200 gold, but I'm spending it on consumes, like not on.
Yeah, that's all I've been spending gold on, and I don't
Yeah.
have any
Boggling
gold
root,
left.
man. You guys been buying my boggling root?
Consumes aren't really that much
No.
money though, right? Like I don't.
I
Think
mean,
I've
if
been
you're
spending
doing
gold at all.
speed
The
runs,
Agi
you're doing
consumes are
swim
pretty good.
potions, you're doing like all kinds
Oh
of
yeah,
weird
well,
shit.
we're not doing speed runs. We're doing
The
40-minute
most
runs.
expensive consume I think I found to continue to chug is mana, the big mana pot at this level.
And those
Yeah.
cost a
They're
fortune at
they're
the
sitting
moment.
about a
They're
gold
so
apiece.
expensive.
Jesus.
And and you'll go through like 5 in a run if you're cruising.
All right.
Oh damn!
We only have 45 minutes until beer league. So
Uh-oh.
the last
Gotta
piece of
cruise.
news is solo self-found mode launching February 2024. Yeah. I'll let you guys take it away. How do you feel this is going to be received, and how do you think it's going to play out?
I think it's a service. It's a fan service for the people who are dedicated to self-found. I don't think it's going to be a crazy successful numbers launch, but a lot of people are going to be happy with it, and I think that is what matters. I still wish they did the true solo self-found and not just self-found, where you couldn't join parties or anything like that. But
I don't know. I
So
feel
yeah, go ahead, Mel.
Well, I was just going to say, I feel like the solo self-found was in place for other reasons too, right?
it was, yeah, because we just
I-
couldn't verify that people weren't cheating.
Exactly. But I feel like it brought about something that people didn't expect to be fun. Now, I always did it with Bobby, so we always duoed. He did his own, solo one, but we always duoed. So I appreciate that we can group in this. I feel like this is definitely a thing that's like on the back burner, right? Like when things get slow in different like areas, this is something I would love to try. I do not see myself trying this right now when SoD is out and when Wrath is still active. Now, that being said, I know that there probably are people that really want this, and I think that that's amazing that they'll put this out for them, knowing that, like, honestly, we say it's not a big numbers game, but it is in the same breath where it's like these people are paying for subscriptions that may not be paying for subscriptions if you don't release something like this, right?
True.
You're right, it's not a numbers game, but there's a lot of us going from Wrath to SoD that are paying one subscription, right?
Yeah,
So you're kind of double dipping on your audience. The solo self-found people, I feel like, would probably find another arena to play their game or to not have enough people to play with. So I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that.
I like the non-solo aspect only because I just really hated trying to compete for a mob tag because I couldn't invite a group and just slowing the entire progress of leveling and the experience because I have to wait in a queue or try to fight for a tag with 80 shamans who have Earthshock and hope I get it. So I kind of like that. I like that aspect of it. I don't think I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be a huge launch. I don't think there's going to be a ton of people. There's going to be a group or two that actually take it super serious and push and try to be the world's first solo self-found element to do something, or self-found element to do something. I think that's great. I think there's goodness in that. But I think, I just think it's not enough to draw me away from what they have right now with which I think is a great hit, which is SoD. And this is what I talked about with Bob and Mel on the last time I was on here, was what I really missed about when I came into the game was I came in during Classic and everything had already been discovered and it was solid content. This is all new content. So it's like, I didn't get to do vanilla launch. So this is amazing to be able to be a part of something and choose not to press revealed location on a rune and try to discover it,
But
so
honestly,
I'll tell you one.
Even pressing reveal though, like, you're still experiencing something new for the first time.
Sure.
And whether or not people got to discover these runes on their own, or they were forced to press the reveal button and find them on Wowhead, like, whether or not either one of those cases, it's like you're still going into BFD, which is a brand new raid with all of these brand new runes that changes the meta in the game completely, right? So it is still Season of Discovery, even if people discover the runes and you figured out where they were. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there is not a chance in hell that I would have discovered these priest runes on my own.
Oh yeah, those were so hard right on launch. I remember I was like, because on launch you can imagine how stressed I was writing all the rune guides, right?
Oh, God.
And they had to call in, like, shout outs to Rockman and Wowhead for initially it was just me and Rockman assigned to the rune guides. And they called in people from retail, they called in people from Diablo, they called in for people from all of the Wowhead groups to come help us because it was a lot, right? Like, we didn't assume that there were going to be different rune acquisitions for every race class combo in every starting zone. Like, we thought it was like, maybe you get to level 12 and like there's one in Westfall and like that's how you go get it, right? No, it was like, oh well, if you're a dwarf, Westfall's closest, but there's also one in the Loch Madon, but there's also one in Tearsfall.
Are we even sure that we have them all found?
I don't think that we've found them all, because
We're
if you're
not.
looking at it, like how much shit has been found and is over in wetlands or alliance dominated territories. Like we haven't seen a lot of the equivalents or something similar on Kalimdor.
I can speak on that a little bit. I did talk to some people at Blizzard somewhat recently, and I said, why the hell are all the runes on the alliance side? And they said, yeah, sorry about that, we didn't really think about it that much as we were making the runes.
Damn.
And I was like, oh great, this is sick. But I also may or may not have been hinted at that we haven't found everything, and it's not in terms of just runes and things like that, right? Of course we've found runes, like if you hit C, it says, 12 of 12 runes collected, right? But there are things in the game that the players are meant to discover that haven't been discovered yet. And I have no idea what those things are.
But maybe not all the ways to find the runes, right?
Yeah, and there's people that are leaving comments on the guides on Wowhead, right? Because as you can imagine, I'm very plugged into that stuff, right? There's people saying like, I found another mage rune and it changed to 13 of 13 and things like that, like literally daily. I'm getting people
screenshot or it didn't happen.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, send screenshots, send a video, like any kind of verifiable proof, because I feel like the first thing that would happen would be Zaryu would make a video on it, right? If that's true, there would be someone with a video.
There's a lot of people that think that all the different classes are 4 runes and gloves, 4 runes and chest, 4 runes and pants. I don't know about every class, but I know Rogue is 4, 3, 5. Like it's not 4, 4, 4.
I think Warriors like that too. I don't really remember.
It's going to bounce around, but I just want to say, like, there are things we haven't discovered in the current phase of Season of Discovery, and that is very exciting to me.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I love that. Right. Also, for the last thing I wanted to say about solo self-found on hardcore is I think it will be the best version of hardcore WoW. I think it's the version that everyone should play. It's gonna remove RMT basically from the entire leveling process of World of Warcraft hardcore, at least, because you physically cannot have gold sent to your character if you buy it, right? Which is a huge plus.
You can't have it traded to you.
No trades.
Bots aren't going to be able to trade anything until 60, so the bots have to basically grind to 60 and then take off solo self-found mode in order to do it, right? So it's going to be really, really cool. And I think we're going to see a lot of people that thought that hardcore was easy because they were just buying shit on the auction house.
I still have to deal with that bullshit all the time. So many people came over like, dude, I did it. It was not as hard as you said. I'm like, bro, it's a different fucking game.
When you're level 12 and you can buy swiftness pots for 3 silver and have infinite of them. Right.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
And target dummies and Skittles buffs, right?
And Petri Flask off the auction house.
Yeah, it was amazing and super fun. And I'm still raiding in hardcore. I'm raiding with OnlyFans now, right? In hardcore, and it's like I love that.
Buying gold.
They absolutely love buying gold. That gold. I haven't had to buy gold because they've all been buying gold.
Bro,
and I scammed them out of it.
They do not buy gold. They're simps. Buy gold and just put their name in.
Literally, Soda Poppin' just got called out for buying gold by Blizzard.
Dude, I guarantee you, it's like people, because all you have to do,
I just put your name, your character name.
Put your character name, and then you're in trouble.
That's definitely happening, but Soda bought like 15,000 gold. Mm-hmm. And then he got caught, and then he went live and had to tell his chat, I got caught buying gold. And that was part of the deal that Blizzard made with him. It's rough out there in those streets, right?
that would throw up some red flags if he got mailed 15,000 gold.
Look, man, the thing is,
he bought a lot of gold in Classic too.
Yeah,
never got banned for it. So
The
I-
only things is a content guild. Okay, no one should
Mhm.
take that as a guild that's like a dedicated World of Warcraft guild. It's a bunch of non-World of Warcraft players making content out of World of Warcraft. All right, that's all it
And
is.
watching
Okay?
C-Dank die while the priest talks to his chat and
Yeah,
doesn't
but
fucking shield.
But it's
moron.
content,
Oh my
right?
god,
That's
it's
the
so
whole-
good.
That's the whole point. It's all
Dude,
content. It's all
and then
fun and
that
games,
guy,
right?
that guy talks shit to the
Yeah,
fucking raid
yeah.
leader after he was the
Yeah.
moron. I was just
Yeah,
like,
but that's
what
the best
fuck
part.
is this?
That's the content. It's
I
the-
hope it was staged, because if not,
No, it
that dude
wasn't.
is a fucking idiot.
So I can promise you, being in the guild, there has not been a single
Oh my
staged
god!
death.
Hopefully they kicked
It's
his
just
ass
that-
out. Then Jesus.
No, it's just that
Oh
the
my
people
God.
people, they just don't. They're not WoW players, right? They don't know what they're doing,
This
and they're
dude's
getting
talking
boosted.
to chat. He's looking at his gear and he's like, "Yeah, and I got this, and I got this, and I get this."
Yeah.
All while the raid leader's like, "All right, make sure C-Dank gets a shield as he goes up so he doesn't get destroyed." And the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm doing this." And the guy looks over after C-Dank dies. He goes, "Oh damn, he got blown up."
Dude,
Fucking
they
moron!
all-
Oh my god, dude.
They all don't play WoW, right? And they're all learning, and they like over half the guild is just getting boosted by Fangsley, like mob tagging. They don't know how to play their characters at a right, but that's the content. That's why it's fun. And
I mean,
it's
he
funny
knows how
and,
to
like, whatever,
shield.
right?
He just like he's talking to his chat.
Yeah. So, but regardless, solo self-found is going to fix all of that, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be no RMT. It's going to be a challenge to get 1 to 60. If you haven't done it, I highly suggest maybe if you just want to plink away at it when you're bored with whatever you're doing currently, or if you're raid logging in whatever iteration of SoD or Cata, whatever. It's as Zenon said in the chat just now, it's the coziest way to play World of Warcraft. So if you want to
It
log
really
in
is.
and just play solo self-found, make a character. It's really, really fun to remove some of your UI elements and just turn the ambience up and run around enjoying the world of classic WoW.
In first person.
You don't do it you could do it in first person.
And make sure to have
and go in first person.
Make
but
sure to
that's
have
nuts.
either unit scanned or rested XP code reloaded, just to make sure that you don't die.
I would honestly argue, if you've never done hardcore WoW, or if you've done it on official hardcore but you have never tried solo self-found, don't run RXP, don't run any leveling guides,
You know what's
and
funny?
just play the game. You know,
You say that,
Yeah, bite off more than you can chew.
but I was completely against like leveling guides until I started hardcore in SOM, and then I died on my first lock. When I died at level 9, freaking from Princess, like you made fun of me forever for it. By the way, I've since on a lock soloed Princess at level 6, so suck it.
that's what I'm talking about. Let's
Yep.
go, Bob.
Hardcore makes you better at the game. That is a true thing. But yeah, so
You think more for sure.
I had been hearing about Rested XP, and it was free for the first 20 levels. I was like, all right, I've never done a guide. I've always done Questy just because it's stupid not to do Questy. I shouldn't say that. If you don't do Questy, you do you. For me, it's stupid to not do Questy. I'm talking about me. But
Nearly impossible.
so yeah, so I go and do Rested XP, and then I just literally fell in fucking love. And I was just like, I've been a moron this entire time.
Yeah, guides remove the
This
brain.
is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Well, it wasn't just that. It was really neat just to see what went through their minds while they set this up. And then, especially in Wrath and stuff, I don't think is actually as needed. Like, but boy, Classic was amazing because there's so many of these quests that span over 7 zones across,
That you just never do.
45
Yeah,
levels
true.
that you just never do. And this taught me how to do it without losing bag space, because it's like, all right, now go put this in the bank. And it was just a whole new world for me. And I was just like, dude, I like this. And so that's why
Yeah, Bobby
I don't
actually
play without
enjoyed
it now.
leveling,
Yeah,
which is great.
Leveling's
Well,
the best part. That's what makes
That's what I'm
Hardcore's so
saying.
good.
Well,
But I
hardcore,
do.
for sure.
I'm not a huge guide guy, but I will say I do appreciate the guide saying, "Hey, while you're in town, don't forget to pick up on these items because you're going to use them in a couple minutes. So you're not running back to town to run back again later." Like
Mhm.
those are the handy things.
Or it has you go do one quest real quick right outside of town because they know that when you then it tells you to go turn it in rather than going back out and doing the whole run because it knows that you're going to have this other quest that's right there at the same place. And that's so
Those
fucking
people
huge.
you just killed.
Rather
Yeah,
than
that
you
is
getting
cool,
back to
actually.
town, doing all the quests you just got from town, coming back and being like, I was just fucking there. You know, like
Yeah, I'm just such a role player though, dude. Like I'm an RP lore like no UI immersive nerd, dude. And I just don't want to like I highly
Crazy.
encourage people that if only in hardcore WoW, not in other versions of the game, but if you're playing hardcore WoW, you should go at it blank and you shouldn't let anyone tell you how to play the game. If you want to play an enhanced shaman, play an enhanced shaman. If you want to play a boomkin, play a boomkin, dude. That's what hardcore is all about.
And if
I
you
want to
get
play a
succeed,
half
you prove
boomkin,
yourself.
half
meta.
feral, half healer. What do you think?
But the thing is,
There you
that
go.
you
You can
can
do
get
that.
to
Play the
60.
class, not the spec.
I will say if they
you
want to
can
encourage
succeed,
more
then
people,
you've proven yourself, right? Like if you want to be a boomkin when nobody else is a boomkin, but you get to 60 and you
Means
didn't die,
yeah.
then you're good.
Mm-hmm.
People
I will
respect
say
you.
we talk about it not gonna. It's probably not gonna have like a huge influx of people that already weren't gonna play this game. But I think, and then there's SoD that's competing with it, and there's Wrath, and there's Cata that's coming out that's competing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything's migrated to the same client now, right? Like it's all the Dragonflight client. How hard would it be for them to put achievements in?
Very
I'm talking.
hard. We talked to him about it.
And I'm
It
talking
would be
just
very
for
hard.
It's hard.
Would it?
And I'm curious
It's
in this
very
because
difficult.
like
Yeah.
if you give,
Because
if
it'd
you
have to
incentivize,
save.
if you incentivize that person and maybe take achievements out of just your UI inside of Wrath, but take achievements and make it like how Steam has achievements for games, like make it a Blizzard launcher thing.
So that you could show people in this
Because
season.
if you got hardcore,
this
reach level
iteration,
60 hardcore paladin or priest or whatever, and like you're going to incentivize so many people to play that would never have normally
It'd be a lot to set up initially, but once they got the ball rolling on it, it would be as easy as having the database just collect from the different iterations
To be honest,
of the game.
Microsoft has
but it'd be a big
achievements, and Microsoft
undergoing.
took over.
Well,
to
so
start
here's
with.
the thing: there's already achievements in Wrath.
Get achievements with the Game Pass.
What you're using, the way achievements in WoW, in Classic WoW, it's the same client, right? They just have the achievement section hidden, right, for Classic.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking to them about them building the official hardcore servers, one of the things we asked was, can you do achievements? Because we have so many achievements as a community, right? And we wanted to be able to reflect those achievements in official hardcore. The answer was no. And they couldn't go into detail about it, but the general assumption that I got was it's a lot of work to get that rolling on the client, because to make a hardcore server, they had to make a brand new version of the client. It's not the same exact client that Classic Era was running on, right? Just to make hardcore work. And then I guess in order to do that, there would be even more dev time. And what it came down to was, without them understanding the success level of hardcore before hardcore comes out, they didn't want to invest the time or the resources to pay people to make the achievement system work. Essentially, that's what it comes down to, right?
A business model.
But
yeah, so the idea would be
100%.
is now hardcore. The hardcore launch was incredibly successful. Like,
oh yeah,
like 10 times more successful than anyone thought it was going to be. So maybe after a while, if there's still players, there's an active player base, Blizzard's making money off of it, then they would probably be more willing to put the dev time in and make more cool adjustments and changes, right? I think we're seeing that with Solo Self-Found coming out.
Well, what?
Right?
I mean, the problem is that they're not making any revenue, right? So every investment that they make is based off of the assumption that they're maintaining revenue that they wouldn't have maintained if they didn't do it, or they're increasing revenue by adding new players. And I don't think you're seeing a lot of adding new players, which makes it very hard to justify the additional time that you're going to spend and to figure out. It's almost this like fail to put something in
Yeah, that's fair.
and then learn and then add it and see the revenue jump, as opposed to them putting in something that maybe doesn't take as much investment that will maintain players and keep them coming, right? But it's a much harder sell to
See,
say
yeah.
that, like,
I think Trackzuit's on the right direction. Putting it in game is really kind of a big bitch. But if they built a add-on to the World of Warcraft.com, like similar to why am I trying to call it battle chest? The armory. You have it so it collects data from all the different seasons, all the different blah blah blah, and you have different things not like, signed off there, kind of like Xbox 360, or like he said Discord achievements. You're going to get even more interaction from people like that don't even really want to play that part, but they want to tick off the boxes. So they're going to go play solo self-found because they want to tick off a few of those achievements. So like that's something that they could add in without adding it into the game. You just have it sending off to a different database. And that's something that I do know could be done. It would be a pretty big thing for a handful of engineers at the start. But once it was made, you would just have to tweak it after that. Like I had spent a lot of time in IT, and once you get something going, it runs pretty good on its own after that.
Well, and I think that's what you have to really think about is that, like, so for them to make money, and people got mad about Soda Pop not getting banned when other people got banned for buying gold, right? And
They couldn't have done that realistically.
But realistically, like, the OnlyFans Guild has a lot of people that aren't necessarily WoW people streaming and putting, hardcore WoW on the map. And that is bringing them those new subscribers. And that's what they need to see, right? That's how they're going to justify continuing to invest in the game that we love. And sometimes you just have to take it with a grain of salt and be like, fine, you're good. Let's keep going. Because if not, we wouldn't get what we want. And nobody wants that either.
It's a gross thing that people can get away with things, like big people can get away with things that you and I cannot. But it's the way the world works, and not just in World of Warcraft. It's the way it works. If you are a pro football player or baseball player, you're going to walk into a restaurant and you're going to be in front of everybody else who had reservations, in line, whatever. It's just the way it works, because that pro being at that restaurant is so big for that restaurant. If you're upset about that, then go fucking be famous. Like, I mean, honestly, like, I hate to break it to you, but I learned this in econ, I can't talk. Economics 101 in college. Pro players and famous players are more important than you are to the economy, period. Like, there's no if, ands, or buts. It's not fair. It's not fair, but it's the truth.
I said, to be fair, they are helping improve what we also love, right? So that's what I'm getting at.
They're giving advertisement, everything else.
Is that they're bringing in new subscribers, which is helping fund the people to do, like, none of the devs are listening to the people that don't really play the game, or the people that don't, like, that are just tourists here in Classic, but they're going to take their money and they're going to use it to help our game that we love. And so you have to take the good with the bad, and you just have to accept it. And you just have to say, would you rather them say no and ban them, and then nobody ever come and subscribe to WoW Classic that wasn't already subscribed, and we get one dev again? Like, it's just not Like you have to
Yeah, it
understand
sucks.
how it works.
Yeah,
I'll say Winky brought up a good point, right? Like you're wanting to. Zen,
What did I do?
let me help you get
Good
famous.
job,
real quick, Zen.
Winky.
So when he was talking about Winky was talking about the it's a game that's not going to make them a ton of money. So return on investment as far as adding in an achievement system or adding in something else. When you look at SoD, right, the majority of people playing SoD probably already have active subs. There's probably some new people that are coming back that maybe let their sub lapse and are like, okay, I want to experience Season of Goofy Craft, as we call it, right, and have a good time with it.
All the streamer
And that's
viewers come back to play.
Season of Dads.
And that's awesome. But like what I really appreciate is, have the devs not been super attentive to this game? Like I'll take a moment to shout it out, right? I'm not trying to like,
Dude, shout it
blow
out.
blow smoke, but like when you're talking about a game that had no PTR because that was by designs, people didn't find shit out. They are building this thing in flight. They have the rough schematics, but like they are actively listening to feedback. They're actively taking measures. And sure, people are always going to complain, oh, the hunters got nerfed again. Like and as a priest and Warsong Gulch trying to get exalted, getting hit by fucking lightning breath from a wind serpent for 300 a shot, like 3 times in rapid succession is not great. So thank you for that. But like they're actively taking things and balancing it. And I get that it's lost on a lot of people. They're not looking at some people only care about the PvE aspect or only care about the PvP aspect. So they're not sure why things are getting nerfed. But like
most people only care about the characters.
When you look at the game as a whole, man, these guys, the whole Blizzard dev team that's working on this, Agron and company, like they are
kicking
busting their ass on to get shit done. I mean, Ashenvale, yes. Was it a little bit of a disaster when it started off? Yeah. Was it still a disaster like 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
But
like all that data,
it feels good now. I don't even care. Like I just at the end of it, like I win or lose, and I'm like, that was worth my time. I just got an
epic like. They've changed it to where you're trying to get in epic battles, and that's what they want. Like the first moment that I felt super epic is when I went up to a Horde Blade Master and I buffed him with Fort, and I watched his health jump 200,000 points, and I was like, man, this guy's got some giga stam modifiers, but like I just buffed a Blade Master 200-something-thousand hit points. This is gonna fuck the alliance up. Let's go, let's run off. And so like I'm excited for what they have with ST Vietnam. Like I'm super pumped to see what they end up out there because it's going to be nasty. It's going to be gnarly. Then they said specifically it's going to be something completely different. It's not going to emulate or replicate Ashenvale. And I'm on the camp that like I really hope it's something similar to like almost MOBA style where you got like opposing mine carts that got to get from one place to another and you got to help escort them.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And I say that too because Blizzard's done such a great job in this expansion of using items that previously had no value. Like who gave a shit about fish oil until you needed it to get a rune, right?
Yep. Or
right.
Now you're talking like
pearls.
Iridescent pearls. Like it was garbage. When you're looking at the engineering at the next phase, and you're looking at the what's the I can't remember what it's called. It's like the trinket you have or the whatever device that you can sit there and repair mechanical units. When has anybody ever used that in WoW?
Oh yeah, good.
I want them to use that when you're trying to get this little robot mine cart from one place to another, like to go mine something. Like that's going to be such a blast. Like I hope that's what happens. Mm-hmm. I don't care what it happens, but like it's going to be exciting. I love how they're repurposing stuff that never had any value, and it's pretty pumped. Oh, you don't cry in Shaman. Shaman uses scales, not.
No, they use both.
Oil. Do they use oil
water
too?
walking water breathing.
One's for underwater breathing. Yeah, my bad. Water.
Just a tip for everybody, and I know everybody can't do this, but like if you're doing Ashenvale during peak hours, like during prime time, evening time, the lag's going to be too much to deal with. Just try and get your rep. But if you're able to stay up till like 3 a.m., you can have some fucking awesome Ashenvale battles. I had a 45-minute one that was back and forth, and it was just the most, like, I had just planned to do it really quick before I, like, went to bed, and it was so much fun. I just kept going. Like, and we were regrouping and moving back and pushing the alliance back, and they were pushing us back, and it was 45 minutes of awesome. Like it was just really cool. And so I don't know if they could do that with more layers or what, but like it's just kind of like during prime time, it is kind of fucked, and that's when most people can play, which is a bummer because it's really fun late at night.
But they're getting all that data, right? And that's what I love so much is like they are paying such good attention to something that they don't have to pay as close attention as they are. They could just very well say, find the runes, have fun.
Figure it out.
Yeah, sorry, Ashavale scuffed. We'll try better at the next one. But like they're making tweaks. There's not going to be a PTR because they've said there won't be for the level 40 jump, the 50 jump, the 60 jump. Like it's going to be exciting.
Dude, they're killing it. Shout out to the devs.
They're killing it. They killed it. All right.
And go ahead. Wait, do we have raid in 15 minutes?
Yes, we have to. Here, I'm going to do this really quick. We're not going to get to really talk about it. We'll just do predictions.
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right, so we got our roadmap, which is really cool that they're trying to do this. Guys, do not hold them to this specifically. Just be glad that they gave you something to like chew on. This is all subject to change. I just want to let you know that's the way it works. But yeah, they
didn't put dates. They just kind of put like seasons, like
yeah. But
spring.
We're looking at Season of Discovery sometime in spring. Winter. We're looking at level 40 cap coming in. A lot of people seem to think this is going to be early in January. I think that's fucking crazy. I think it's going to be maybe early February, most likely late February, because the 8th of February is 10 weeks. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I have a hot take on the roadmaps.
They did level gating at all. I wouldn't have played if they didn't have like different caps because I don't want to do the fucking 1 to 60 grind again.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, going 1 to 25, nice. Do some end game stuff for
it's been, dude. I think they should do it for retail. I honestly
go 25 to 40. It'll take a bit longer, but it'll still be fun. It's like not
everything's
just one
fresh.
big. It's not
it's
just
fresh
all,
and it's different.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah.
And think about how fun 40 is going to be when people get their class defining things, right? Like,
yeah. And they're going to be it's going to be like SoD re-releasing almost because they're going to add a whole bunch of new stuff and you have to go rediscover everything. Like every bracket's going to be different.
It's going to be fun. And I think it's not as much of an effort. It's kind of like an expansion effort, right? Where it's like 70 to 80 or 80 to 85, right? Like that's the amount of effort that you have to put in. Like the 1 to 60 grind is a lot coming back. Like in the initial game, totally made sense, right? But like coming back, that was a lot.
I think that's why a lot of people
brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
To play all the different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tracksuit, what'd you have to say?
No, I'm excited. I think 40 is going to bring. And this is the gospel according to Tracksuit. This is all speculation, but like if you look historically, when dual spec got initiated, it came at 40, right? And I know they've hinted at dual spec coming in here.
I don't want it.
I think I think it'd be the perfect time.
Nope, I don't.
You get plenty of options. What? You don't want it?
Literally, this podcast episode 1, I talked about dual spec in vanilla. We started the podcast in AQ. Last week, I changed my mind. I don't want it. I want a spec for every version of the game, and I want it to stick. So I want it. So when you go to respec, you choose which one you want to respec: dungeon, open world, raid, BG. I don't want you to like basically make players do two
Switch on a
PvE
boss-to-boss.
specs
Yeah.
and do a boss to boss thing. I don't want players
fine
to
with
be
that.
forced into that. I want one spec for every version of the game, and it loads in when you load into the new spot. I think that would be the absolute best and would solve a lot of the problems with dual spec. But if
they keep the
if
respec
that's
cost
all they
down,
can do,
then
I will
okay.
still take dual spec. I'm just saying, like, yeah.
No, what he's
Yeah,
saying is
that's
like
got a good point.
you don't need the respec cost doesn't matter that much because you got one for your dungeons. It loads in when you go into a dungeon. You got one for open world. It loads when you go into open world.
Yeah, that's great.
Et cetera, et cetera.
I think
love
that
it.
would
I
be
guess- I mean,
wonderful.
Because
Need to
it
respec a
sucks
lot.
as a priest, like a holy priest or a disc priest, healing people, and then running around open world and being like, "Man, I sure would like to tag and kite a mob 10 levels higher than me, like a hunter." Like, it's just, and I get that it's not going to be the same ever power wise like that, but like, it's nice to be able to farm stuff on your own if you want that one character without having to worry. Like, I got to pay 40 gold again to go respect, to.
Well, and classes that can heal or tank are the ones I'm trying to protect, because guilds will force people to do shit where they're like, well, you need to have 2 PvE specs, and then you can't have fun in PvP because now you're freaking stuck to like having a DPS and a heal spec or a DPS and a tank spec
just as frequently, right?
Yeah, like,
It
but
does
if
kind of suck for dungeons though. Like, if you need one tank for 90% of or raids rather, you need one tank for 90% of the raid, but you need 2 for the other 10%.
They've also capped it at one gold, which is great. So like you're capped at 1 gold to
then again, I guess you weren't
respec.
respecing in classic every.
Yeah. But
every
I just
boss,
don't
right?
want people respecking during raid. That's like we're already changing out runes, having extra pieces of gear to swap runes. Don't make it sweaty to where people are having to have multiple specs. That's what I don't want.
I don't know. At the same time, I feel like it is like there's a lot of times where you need 2 tanks for one boss, so you bring an extra tank for the entire raid, and they're pretty much just worthless people for the entire raid except for that one boss, and that sucks, right?
At this level, it doesn't matter though, because you're
at this
at least
level,
for
it doesn't
warriors
matter.
and
I'm
stuff, your
saying,
talents don't fucking matter.
at
But
60,
eventually, it does. Yeah.
right? But
Yeah,
at
it's gonna
60,
matter,
it
and-
will matter.
And you're going to have, they said specifically they want tanks to be situational, right? They're going to put things in there that's going to say, I want you to experience the full raid, but I want you to have a need for a rogue tank here, a shaman tank here, a warrior tank here, a warlock tank there. And you're not going to pigeonhole and bring one tank spec of each of those classes with you. You want people to be able to dual spec and swap out. And then, hey, it's rogue, it's your turn to tank this fight. Go ahead and swap, and we're going to go into this fight.
They could even do what they do for retail and just have it so you have one for each spec that you can just switch between.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then you can
my thoughts
respec
on
that
this-
one individually if you wanted to change like 1 or 2 things around.
Winky, you said you had a
Outside
hot take on
dual
the
spec.
schedule.
My thoughts on hold on, Wingy, let me tell
Oh,
you first. My thoughts on the schedule is that the second season of Discovery will come out beginning of February. I think based on the timeline that they're showing, I think beginning of February is probably a good outlook. And I think Self-Found will come out into February, beginning of March. And then 50 will come out probably around April, end of April. Go ahead, Winky.
You heard it here first.
I'll keep it real quick because we have to do Beer League. But
Beer League.
Short and sweet, I think Blizzard's behind the times as usual. Every company on the planet Earth has been putting out roadmaps for their fiscal years and whatever they've been doing for an extremely long time. This is not an applaudable. Good job, Blizzard. Thank you so much for this.
Yes, it is.
This should be a company standard that most developers already do to begin with. We shouldn't be bending over saying, oh my God, look how much Blizzard's done for us recently because they put this roadmap out. No, fuck you. You should have been doing this the entire time.
I think you're
But if you
right
don't
and
give them
wrong.
any
I think you're
positive
right that they should have done
reinforcement
it,
for
but like they're doing it now. Like, you know,
Yeah, it's like having a kid though, and like feeding your child and keeping them doing the bare minimum to keep them alive, and then expecting the kid to be like, "Oh, thank you so much for doing that. That's so nice of you. I can't believe it."
it
like
would
a
be like,
kid would ever
it would be
freaking
like
have
having
like
a child, not feeding them for 6 months, and somehow they survive, and then feeding them. Okay, so now you're
and then getting
feeding
praise
them,
for it.
and they're like,
Yeah, and
"Thank
then
you, Mom." And you're
everyone on
like,
the planet Earth is like, "Oh my God, look
I
how good of a
should
mother
keep
you are."
You
feeding
finally
them.
fed it.
No,
Yes.
no, it's not everybody on the planet Earth. It's saying that, like, you just
give
have to
them
understand human
reinforcement
behavior.
for
And
changing.
human behavior means
Yeah, didn't we
that
just shout out devs and now we're shitting out devs?
Yeah,
Like,
Jesus
I'm not
Christ,
shitting
guys.
devs.
They're
I
different.
am
They're
not
different
shitting
dev
devs.
teams.
they are different teams. You're right. You're right.
But what I want to say is, like, if we don't tell them what we like, then there's no motivation for them to continue to do it, right? So, like, I want to say, like, yes, this is amazing. Thank you. We like this. Please continue to do it. Do I also think, in the same note, sure, you probably should have been doing this for 7 years? Sure.
It's
But-
industry standard. We shouldn't say thank you for something that is
Hey, they're
the
breaking the mold.
standard. Like, it's the bare minimum to let
Okay,
your player
so-
base know
So if
what
you
your
don't say
plans
thank
are.
you, then they just will never do it again.
And then we'll just continue complaining about it like we always do.
And you know what's going to happen after they,
It's
you know
such
what's going to
small
happen
indie
after
company.
they release this? This is the problem, is that what's going to happen after they release this is that when level 4 or when self-found mode doesn't come out, no, level 40 and self-found I feel like are pretty solid. But when like level 50 doesn't come out mid-spring, somebody's going to tweet out this fucking picture of like, look,
Yep.
this is fucking
Look,
mid-spring,
this is what you
and we're
said.
mid-spring. Here's the Wikipedia that shows what mid-spring is, and you're not fucking
Bob, you're wrong.
handling it. Like,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
like, they haven't done this because, to be fair, I would rather them wait longer. And this has always been their philosophy. Maybe not always, but when we've loved them, this has been their philosophy. Is like, we want to put out a good game, not a game on a schedule. Right?
That's what they
It's
said
done
for
when it's
Shadowlands,
done.
and that sucked ass.
Yes. But if your game is ready, if your game, like, you have to have like a, I mean, people can only pay you for so long to develop a game
Yeah, true,
before
actually.
it's like ready, right?
Oh,
But
hey,
at the
log
same
in for
time,
Beer
it's
League,
like-
by the way, and well, I'll get summons out while we're having this
Nah,
discussion
sorry.
because we have
That's
to pull
amazing.
in 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
Hey, this
so
has been a good
sorry.
podcast, man. We've been having a good time.
All right, guys. I will table the roadmap. We'll have other guests on next week that
That'll
will
be appreciative.
well no we'll just
Considerate of your time.
we'll just dive into it more and just see, like, because there's stuff later on in it that is kind of concerning, but we do not have time for that this week, so stay tuned for that next week.
That at the fucking...
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mashes Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you'd like to send us an email, WCRpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join the Discord, it's warcraftreloaded.com/Discord. If you'd like to help the podcast, you can join the Patreon. Every way to support us is at warcraftreloaded.com. Track, where can we find you?
Twitch.tv/tracksuit if you want to see somebody wear random tracksuits and play mid-tier gaming.
Oh, are
Don't
you
sell
doing the
yourself
new
short.
meta? Are you playing topless?
Hey, channel points will get this zip down a little bit. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Can I
There
get
you go.
a
There you
unzip?
go.
You better start collecting.
All right, Mel, you can tell the beer league your unzip story later. She works with kids, and yeah.
Nope.
Yikes.
Fine.
Okay.
Wow.
All right,
That's a
Wiki,
variety.
where can we
Cliffhanger.
find
See
you?
next week.
Said too
You can
much.
find me at twitch.tv/Winky or WinkyHC on YouTube. I'm on a little bit of a hiatus though while I quit smoking, and I'm nursing a broken rib back to full health, and then I'll be back streaming and stuff.
And Zunder, this is your first time on the show. Make sure you're now streaming. Make sure you pimp the stream.
Yeah, you can find me at Twitch TV/ZunderBunder. If you can't spell it, that's fine. You don't need to go there. But I'll stream this beer league run and we'll go from
Let's
there.
go.
I
Dude.
stream like, once a week, maybe sometimes twice. Sometimes I don't stream for like 3 months straight. So we'll see.
That
Keeping it
is
fun.
ZUNDRDER
Nope.
BUN.
Bob can't spell it. He doesn't need to go there.
But guys, you definitely need to check out Zunder. We were all blown away with how good looking he is, and he has his camera working now. So you should just join in and check out this hot bod. All right, Mel, where can we find you?
You can't.
Okay, and you can find me
talk
on
about it so much.
You can find me on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me on Twitch at BlazinBob, no underscore. We out. Love you guys. Peace.
Hell yeah.
And
for Nomragon.
See you next week. Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.